February 6th, 2019.
Let's be honest, just for all the Knicks fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting anybody. No one.
I don't believe that.
No. No one.
I don't believe that.
KD? Where's the camera? Are you on me? Not coming. Okay? Kyrie?
You have inside sources?
Yeah. History.
Yeah.
History.
Yeah.
Kyrie, not coming. Okay? You know who the best bet that we're going to have is? This is best case scenario.
Like it's like Tobias Harris. Or
Tobias
something.
Harris,
Who's no
Kemba
scrub.
Walker.
Who's
this
no
is
scrub.
best, and then we're gonna act like he's the truth because that's what we fucking do. This is what the Knicks need to do. All right, God, bring the flood. Bring the flood. Okay, everything needs to be
See,
destroyed.
all the things you say about Knicks fans.
Bring the flood.
This is what Knicks fans. This is what
Bring
Knicks
the
fans do.
flood.
They're not like
Do
me.
not build the ark. I will kill Noah before he can build the ark. Let us all drown.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? And welcome to Flagrant 2 No Easy Buckets Analysis by Assholes, water cooler commentary for your sports needs. I'm Andrew Schultz. I'm here with Akash Singh. Kaz ain't here yet. He acting like he's pregnant. Your girl's pregnant, okay? You got no excuse to be late, okay? But we're starting the show anyway. We're not going to tolerate the lateness. I got Alex Media and Eden Rodriguez. What is your last name again? Martinez on the ones and twos. We have this episode is brought to you by the one, the only Skeptic. Skeptic, you know Skeptic fucks with us and we fuck with Skeptic, man. Skeptic Distillery, not playing around. Do we have that? Do you have that beautiful vodka on the screen right there? Look at that. Look at that bottle.
Shit is gorgeous.
It is just gorgeous. That's how you do branding right there. And you know what? They're more than just branding. They're more than just branding. Matter of fact, they are the first and only vodka. Not only vodka, gin, and Cumming whiskey that is cold distilled, okay? They distill their vodka and gins at 50 degrees Fahrenheit or even below freezing at times, which preserves the flavors and improves the taste, okay? You guys are going to get cold brew alcohol before anybody can get it. Be on the cusp. Be the team that's coming up. Be the Nets of vodka. Be the Nets of gin. Be the Nets of whiskey. Okay? You got to try it, man. You got to try this shit for real. Now, you have a lot of big name artists and influencers. You know, they rep liquor brands and, you know, the smart brands attach themselves to these popular influencers. This is why Skeptic fucks with us, because they know our relationship with y'all. I've had people buy it, reach out, say it's delicious. Listen, I'm not even the biggest gin guy in the world, okay? I like a little vodka soda from now and then, but gin, not the biggest gin guy. I rather enjoyed the gin when I tried it. I really did. So you can go online to enjoy it as well. You go to shop.skepticdistillery.com. Okay, shop.skepticdistillery.com. Use the promo code Flagrant. You get 20% off all purchases. Any purchase over $100 will receive free shipping. All right, you can check them out on Instagram as well. They have a post of them keeping it tight. Ha ha ha! So show some love. First 5 assholes to order at least $100 worth of bottles. Not only will they receive free shipping, but they will also get this dope Skeptic snapback hat. All right, you see that little game that we got going on over here? Look at that. Rep the brand. Anyway, thank you so much to Skeptic for supporting our show. Let's get down to business. Okay, guys, Matador Tour. First of all, I got to give a huge shout out to Denver and Houston. Denver, I expected, man. Amazing comedy club down there. The Comedy Works. Go check it out. Thank y'all for coming out. Sold out all 5 shows. That was unbelievable. But Houston, bro. Houston is a real market.
Son, they love us.
I did not realize that Houston is a real market. I think that, you know, I'm guilty of what so many other people do is they assume that Dallas is the only big market in Texas for whatever fucking reason. Austin gets a lot of, you know, I guess notoriety in the kind of super liberal world, definitely in the comedy world. But Houston, we did 2 shows at the Houston Improv, great club, 450 seats. It was unfucking real, man. Unreal. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Amazing fans. like super diverse. It's like Asian, Indian,
Most
Mexican,
diverse city in the
white.
country.
Is it? I mean,
up-
it's
yeah,
just
it's up
it's a
there.
fascinating fucking city. It's like they really got their own thing going on, and I was just so grateful, man, that everybody came out. So I'm definitely making that one of the guaranteed tour stops every single tour. But new shows coming up. Toronto. The first show sold out. Second show is getting close. So theandrewschultz.com. Get those tickets. July 13th. I'll be there. After Toronto, I'm going to be at the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. I'm doing 2 of my own shows that we do on this, which is Inside Jokes. So if you guys seen the Inside Jokes show we do on YouTube, we're going to do that live at Just for Laughs. And then we're also doing unsafe sets. So I'm going to get a bunch of comics that are going to do their, most unsafe, unapologetic, unfiltered material. It will be a surprise, but make sure you book those 2. And then I'll also be doing the Nasty Show, which is part of the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. So make sure you get tickets to those. But if it's up to me, you get tickets to the unsafe sets and the Inside Jokes one, because those are the ones that I'm putting on out there. And then yeah, more shows. TheAndrewSchultz.com. I'm coming to Russia. We're going to Australia. All those tickets are on the books. You can go get them right now. TheAndrewSchultz.com for more dates. We're adding shit every day.
Yo, this weekend, July 5th, New Orleans for Essence Fest. Duce Palooza is pulling up. Special start time, midnight to 5 a.m. at the House of Blues. We got
Shit.
DJ Willie, Miss Nix, Mike Swift, Austin Mills, DJ GQ, and a special performance by Mr. New Orleans himself, Juvenile, will be performing.
Oh, shit.
Can't
Oh,
wait for that
cool.
shit. It's going to be fucking nuts. And New York City, we are coming back one day only. Collaboration with our good friends over at Brunch Mounts. August 18th, we are back at the Brooklyn Mirage. We came to see our Duce Palooza this past couple of months ago with YG. We're coming back to shut down the Mirage again. August 18th, one day only, Brooklyn, New York. Get your tickets at DucePalooza.com/tickets.
Yo, we're building out this tour. We do not have ticket links yet. They're fucking up, but we got dates in Houston, San Fran, and LA. September 6th, Houston. First city we booked out because I know how much love y'all give us. Andrew was right. 2 shows at the Secret Group. The Piano Fight, September 13th in San Francisco, and September 19th, the Comedy Store in LA. We're coming through.
Hell yeah. And I will be at Bananas Comedy Club in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, August 2nd and 3rd. And then I will be in Zany's Nashville on September 26th.
I love Zanies, man. Nashville's such a great city.
Hell yeah.
Really great city.
Everybody keeps saying that. I gotta go to Nashville.
one of the
Nashville's
best
fun.
cities.
Very fun.
Everybody, it's like down south Vegas or some shit.
Yeah,
It's so unique. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I gotta check it out.
biggest bachelorette party destination in America.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, we think that
I'll check it
everybody,
out.
it's just everybody in New York and LA goes to Vegas.
Yeah.
Everybody in the middle of the country goes to Nashville.
Is gambling legal?
Sorry?
Is gambling legal?
In Nashville?
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure, but there's like a downtown like bar scene that's got like live music and it's
unbelievable.
fucking.
Well,
No, I went
Music is
alone. I
incredible.
just hit up all the little country music spots. Nashville Country Music Hall of Fame was fun.
It's
And
great.
Yeah.
Princess Fried Chicken,
Nice.
dope as fuck.
Great, man.
Oh, yeah.
Great city. But yeah, man, thank y'all so much. All right, let's get back to the show. Akash, you think that Kaz is late maybe because he knows the hellacious ass whooping that I'm about to give him for what happened to the
Who?
Knicks in free agency?
Who?
Please answer that question. Please.
Oh, it's gonna be just like last week with you with the cop
What happened?
when you said the cop.
We don't
punched-
got to bring up old shit.
So what I'm saying is,
Why we got to bring up old
so
shit,
what I'm saying
bro?
is, what's the
Why can't you just roll with me? Yes, and
Son,
dog.
can
Improv
you-
games.
can you
know
let
what I
me
mean?
go,
Holy
dog?
shit! I know you need to go, but we need to go.
Well, let me finish the question.
God, you acting like Knicks management. Trying to tank this fucking bit before we get it off the ground.
So what's the greater prediction?
The greater prediction for what?
Kaz saying the cop didn't punch him aside, or you saying 3 months ago, Nick's not getting anybody.
I to be honest, I still believe that Masai punched the cop, but that's
I see why you thought I was stopping the momentum now. Okay, I got you.
so. Joking, but all joking aside, I'm smiling to hold back from the tears. But there is something very important, and I'll look into the camera. I'll look at you, Akash. I'll look at Alex. I'll look at Eden. A very important thing happened yesterday, and what happened yesterday is that the Knicks, Akash, are no longer New York's team. They are no longer New York's team, and it is a tough day for me to sit here and admit this, but We will no longer tolerate the abusive relationship that the Knicks have bestowed upon us as Knicks fans.
It's a good thing.
They are taking advantage of our loyalty. They are taking advantage of our passion. They are abusing our heroes. What they did to Charles Oakley alone should have made us take a step back and just relook at this relationship that we're in and see if we maybe need to get our groove back. Do you know what I mean? See if we maybe need to, to the left, to Dolan, etc. But in my personal opinion, Dolan has no interest in making a winning basketball team. I think he raped a girl. I think he either raped a girl or he had sex with an underage girl, and I think someone is privy to that information, and he's doing anything he possibly can to bow to the whims of that person. They're basically like, listen, we got this on you. Maybe it's not an underage girl. Maybe it's some like big business deal. Who knows what the fuck it is? Maybe he's got bodies. But something is happening where he is actively trying to keep the Knicks from winning. Because it's not like he's even trying to win. When I found out that he didn't offer KD the max, that means it was on the table. That means KD's coming to the Knicks.
Is that real?
Yes, it's real. I have two things to tell you it's real. Not only did they not offer the max, the Knicks are such an incompetent Franks and Beans organization that DeAndre Jordan, who was playing on the Knicks last year, convinces Kevin Durant to go to the Nets. And guess what? Take less money.
Wow.
He could have gotten more money to play on the Knicks, but DeAndre was like, you don't want no part of this. And then we have to go back and we have to look at what the organization is, right? We have to look at the people part of this organization. Why are you hiring these frankest of beans people? Scott Perry, Steve Mills. What have they really done in their careers? What successes have they had? None of us can name, right? How do you end up being the president and GM of the Knicks when you've done nothing in your whole fucking career to deserve that position? Maybe because you want them to fail. Maybe because you want incompetence in your organization because you can't have them winning. Maybe you choose Melo, a proven loser, over Phil Jackson, a proven winner, because you want incompetence. You want them to fail. Maybe when your number one goal in the offseason is to re-sign the unicorn, Kristaps Porzingis, right? The number one thing is maybe to sabotage that, you hire a coach that has already proven he has no clue how to communicate with Euros. Okay? He destroys his relationship in Memphis with Marc Gasol, right? Comes to the Knicks and wins fucking 13 games or something like that. This genius coach. Everybody thinks he's a genius coach. He's a genius coach for high school kids, okay? If you want to make a bunch of disenfranchised youths believe in themselves, then go for it, Fizdale. This is the fucking real deal. Okay? This is professional sports. Dog shit coach. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, maybe he congeals and gets all the young kids to believe they're part of something. Suck my dick, part of something. Okay? We don't need this part of something. We're fucking adults. We're here to work. Okay? You need to be part of something when you're not paying them. Now we're paying you millions of dollars. You fucking better be part of it. Okay? You hire this coach, completely incompetent with communicating with Euros. You send Porzingis away, okay? He's out there getting knocked out in his own fucking hometown in Latvia, breaking his bones all over in his body. Marc Gasol, what happens when he leaves you? What happens with Marc Gasol's career?
Wins the championship.
Ooh, well, what do you say? So you hire incompetent president, incompetent GM, incompetent coach, and then you expect this GM and president to make free agent moves when they don't even understand the collective bargaining agreement? These fucking Franks and Beans retards don't even understand what to do with salary cap. You're signing 2-year deals? You're signing 2-year deals to guys when you could have just waited, and I'll give credit to Bill Simmons on this one because he shouted it out before I even put the math together. You could have waited to see which teams needed to dump players and scoop up 1-year contracts if you just pushed the brakes for a little. But instead you get Taj Gibson, Bobby Portis. Whoa. Bobby Portis. That's a villain from an 80s movie, Bobby Portis. Taj Gibson. What is that?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't need nobody with an Indian name.
No,
I'll
you
tell
don't.
you that right now. Ain't
Jesus.
nothing good coming from that.
Is Kunal Jakmara coming as well? What other guys are we bringing in? Eskimos? Who the fuck are you drafting? It is unfathomable that you could sign these fucking deals, bro. Can you even name the Knicks starting five? Who's this Bullock guy from the Lakers?
I don't know. I don't know why. Yeah, that with 2 years, they're trying to gear up. They think they're going to make a run at Giannis and whoever the fuck else is coming in 2 years.
You're not getting nothing.
You're not.
You're not getting nothing. You're not getting nothing. You're not getting Giannis. They don't realize they're the laughing stock of the NBA. The laughing stock of the NBA. Oh, excuse me. I just burped. Don't worry about putting any
stress
images
is
on
causing-
this thing. It is. I'm telling you, the Knicks have taken advantage of us for too long. The Knicks have abused that relationship for too long. They've spit in the face of our support for too long. And all the while, there's this other team out there, right? Another team out there in New York. And another team out there that, like so many of our parents, immigrated to this city. Like so many of our parents grinded hard, worked hard, never asked for a fucking thing. Never asked for a fucking thing. Proved it. Went out there and proved it with nothing. Beat all the odds to actually make it into the playoffs. And you know what? I'm not saying I'm going to buy gear, but I'm going to cheer. I'm not saying that I'm a Nets fan, but I'm open. I'm open. I'm going to attend games. I've already canceled my season tickets to the Knicks.
Good for you.
It's over.
You got to
We-
speak with the dollar.
I will not buy a season
Look at
ticket to
Eden's
the
hat.
Knicks. I will not buy. I can't believe you're wearing that hat. Take that out. I will not buy a season. I will not buy Knicks merch. I will not watch Knicks games on television.
Wow.
Nope. If I want to enjoy basketball, and this is what all New Yorkers should do, if you want to enjoy basketball, go to the Nets. You know what they've done? How convenient they've made it? How fucking Asian this team is? All they are Asians, man. They just come to America, work their ass off, make a great product, and they're like, hey, when you're ready, you want to come by? You know, you can take the train. It drops you off right here. It's right here.
Every line goes there.
Every line. Do you know how to get to fucking Penn Station? You got to walk 4 blocks in Herald Square, or wherever that nonsense is, behind buildings, all this bullshit.
More trains go to Atlantic than Penn.
Then Penn.
Yeah.
More trains go to Atlantic than Penn. They made it convenient to us. They earned it. And you know what? If I want to watch a game, I'm going to Brooklyn. I'm going to Brooklyn to watch. If I want to watch a game on TV, I'm going to find out whatever fucking channel the Nets play. I'm not even sure. I don't even know. But I'm going to watch that because I'm not supporting these Knicks. And if you're a real New Yorker, I'm not saying we abandon the Knicks forever. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you cannot allow someone to abuse you and think they'll stop if you keep on supporting them.
It's like watching a Tyler Perry movie. You're in this abusive relationship. Then here comes this beautiful light-skinned team, just ready, just treats you right.
Treats me right.
Doesn't expect anything. Never
Nothing.
mad at you. Doesn't spit in your face. Doesn't disrespect you.
That's it. And wants nothing. They don't want no commitment.
Sexy as fuck.
That's it.
Shamar Moore over here. The
Right
Shamar
here.
Moore basketball team ready to go.
The little hazel eyes and shit.
Diary of a Mad White Andrew right here.
That's it, bro. For real. Dude, I'm telling you, we have to boycott the Knicks. There is nothing good that can come from the only thing these people understand, like you were saying, is money. That's the only thing.
Yep.
They truly do not understand anything else. If we boycott the Knicks, I don't care if tourists go to the Knicks. Yeah, a bunch of people come here from Czechoslovakia, Spain, London. They want to go watch a game. Go watch a fucking game. I don't care. But New Yorkers, they don't deserve us. They don't, and I know it's going to be hard. I'm 35 years old. There's people 55 years old. They've watched the Knicks their entire lives. And you know what? Those Knicks earned your support. They won them championships. And even the ones that didn't. We had some fucking ballsy, powerful teams, Akash. The Pat Riley teams.
There were
The
dogs.
Jeff Van Gundy teams.
Dogs.
Fighting. Dogs. Tough. They were New York. When you watch the Knicks now, do you see New York?
20 years since you've been a threat. Legit 20 years since you've
What
been a
is
threat.
Frank Nicolina? What is that? Why are we hiring French guys? Stop it. The last French thing America ever should have accepted was the Statue of Liberty. That's it. We don't do no more French. We don't do it. Okay? You hire American black guys. Get the job done. Names like Oakley, Johnson. I don't know what Ewing is, but I'll take it. Okay? Anthony, Starks. These are good names. Nika Lika Lena. What is that? What is that? Akash, what is it? It has to stop. We have to withdraw all our power. We have to boycott. And anybody that doesn't boycott is enabling this abuse.
You have to boycott. I've said this. Not watching on TV, I respect a lot because I'm a Cowboy fan. I won't give them any money. I'll still watch on TV.
I'm not watching the Knicks.
Yeah, this is hilarious. Yo.
I'm not watching the Knicks.
So, police brutality. You won't take the knee with Cap and boycott the NFL. But the Knicks dropped the ball with this trade.
What's a greater
Hold on
crime
one
against
second.
humanity?
Hold on one second.
Don't get me wrong.
No.
Andrew Kaepernick.
If the NFL was out there abusing black people, yes, I would boycott it. What the fuck does the NFL have to do with the police department?
Nah, I feel you. It's just funny.
And I don't see you out here boycotting police stations.
Oh shit!
I don't see you out there taking a knee in front of the police stations. Back to what we were saying before you try to throw me under the racism bus. You know what I mean?
No, but
man
if
trying
you
to
didn't let me finish.
Kaz not here, but he's still here. You know what I mean?
Nah, but Andrew Kaepernick, I'm taking the knee with you.
Good.
Yeah, I'm taking the
All
knee
I'm
with
saying,
you. Fuck that.
don't get me wrong. I'll boycott abusive police every single day of the week. I'm
Yeah.
100% supporter of that. And that's what these Knicks are. They're abusive police.
They're the direct abusers.
They're the direct abusers. So that's what this organization is. And any one of them cops say, fuck, like do the shot Philando Castile, all that shit, fuck them. We got to get them out of here. I've been very vocal about that from the jump. You know who Philando Castile is? No, not Philando. The guy who killed Philando Castile, that Mexican, Eden. Your people, Eden. You know what I mean? Real talk. What's that other cop? Scott or something like that? Who's the cop that shot Mike Brown? What was that guy's name?
I don't know, bro.
I don't know.
What about the other Mexican down in Florida that shot the kid with the hoodie and the Skittles? Zimmerman, yeah. That's the Knicks. Hey, James Dolan is Zimmerman, okay? Perry Zimmerman, Mills Zimmerman. That's what they're doing to us. That's the type of abuse, bro. No, I have Weinstein. Bro, it's Weinstein, it's Zimmerman. It is the sports equivalent. They've been raping us. Every time I watch the Knicks game, I want to shower. I want to take a shower and wash off that rape. After this free agency, bro, I felt Knicks management come leaking out of my orifices because I was raped.
I can't believe you had season tickets for so long.
Bro,
I'm glad you canceled, though. Dolan got on Twitter yesterday. It was his first tweet ever. Knicks fans, basically something like, Knicks fans, I know you're upset. I really
Dolan
believe.
or Perry.
I thought it was Dolan.
Or Sims. Or
I thought it was Dolan.
whatever. What's up, man?
What up, bro?
Stay right there. We're going to get to you in a second because you're very important for this. But go on.
I thought it was Dolan, but
I think it was Dolan.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Go.
He said basically, Knicks fans, I know you're upset, but I truly believe this is the path to a winning team. It's not.
Let me tell you something, Akash, and I mean this sincerely. If you see me in a Knicks game, just know Dolan's getting milkshaked. You know what those fucking, what is it, the Antifa, those gay guys in Portland. You know what Antifa is?
Oh, you're talking about just everyone in Portland?
Yeah.
Okay.
But whatever. But you know how they protest by throwing the milkshakes?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I'm throwing something at Dolan. It's gonna happen, dude. I'm telling you, if I see him, and you know what? I had the shot. I had the fucking shot. But Benders was coming out, and it was on his channel, this, that, the other. You realize, I'm willing. I know if I do it, I'm a New York legend forever.
Yeah.
But I'll never perform at the Garden. And I think I'm willing to sacrifice performing at the Garden.
Who cares? You got a nice arena that's more convenient to get to, one borough away.
I ain't going all the way to Brooklyn for that. I'm still New York, though. But
Hey,
real
you can
talk.
support Brooklyn, Jay-Z,
Bruh.
Biggie. Honestly, the GOATs come from Brooklyn.
Oh, God, why you gonna do this to me, bro?
I'm telling you. I'm trying to make it easier. I'm trying to make sure more available, son. He's there. He's calling for you. Muscles gleaming.
Son, I cannot. It's just something that I'm going through right now that's too difficult.
You feel the temptation. You feel the pull.
No. I'm
the
pulled.
light side.
I'm pulled. It's over. It's done. I'm away. What I'm saying is,
I'm buying you a Nets jersey, son.
and that's fine. I'm not going to wear it. My boy Jason and I have a rule. Jason and I share the season tickets with. We say cheer. He invented this term: cheer no gear. You know what I mean? Cheer no gear, which means we're going to go watch basketball because we love it with the Nets. That's where we're going to spend our money. We're not going to wear Nets stuff. He is a kid. He's like, do I start making the kid the Nets fan right now?
Yes.
I say, no.
Yes.
Not just yet. Not just yet.
Okay,
It's
fair.
okay. Let him build. Let him build the support, right? Put yourself in the same shoes. The Cowboys.
Yeah.
Okay? They've been abusing you for a while.
I'm ready to jump. I'm ready to fuck any other team that comes to Arlington.
No, would you go to Houston?
Houston mad for us, and they ain't no borough. That's fucking 4 hours, dog.
Is it?
Yeah. Let Fort Worth get a football team. You run both comedy clubs. That's an hour.
Whoa.
Fort Worth get a football team.
You're
I'm
jumping.
ready. I'm ready. Oh, and they get fucking marquee players.
It's over.
It's over. It's
That's-
over. It's over.
So now you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I'm understanding. I'm not understanding. Where's your jersey?
Let me quit. Okay, because it's not there just yet. I still love the Knicks, but I can't support this ownership and I can't support this management. I can't do that anymore because it's only going to prolong the devastation and destruction of the Knicks that we know and love. There's a chance, Akash, that in my lifetime the Knicks won't win a championship.
There's not a chance. It's a certainty. A virtual certainty.
That's just a cruel thing to say right
Vir-
now.
I'm tough
leaning
love,
into
dog.
how
Come on,
bad
son.
this
Tough
is.
love. This is tough
It's
love.
kind of tough. It's a little tough for
It's
me.
tough love.
It's tough.
I'm trying to pull you over to the side. Listen, the Nets had Prokhorov. I think he was a fucking idiot. I don't know if he learned or if he sold. Either way, they got Carl Lentz, dog.
Son, they got the most powerful man in basketball, Carl Lentz.
He brought everybody over.
Brought Kyrie.
He's your boy.
Brought KD. Carl hit me
your
up on the way.
boy.
Carl hit me up on the way to the podcast, and he's like, "Well, what a crazy day that was," or something like that. I was like, "You motherfucker, the most powerful man in basketball." He goes, "Don't worry, you were with us when we were shooting in the gym." And I was
So
like, "All right."
he invited you over.
I was like, "All right."
Son, you
I'm not
got-
a Nets fan just yet, you know what I mean? But Nick's got to make some moves. You know,
you foolishly loyal, man.
this fucking Dolan guy. This fucking Dolan guy. So nice of you to join us, Kaz.
In his makeup.
So nice of you to join
Mad
us.
makeup, son. Son, you got great skin. Why they put so much makeup on you?
It's TV, bro. Shit, I gotta look shiny.
Anyway,
Very shiny.
so
Did I miss
Kaz,
too much?
no, you didn't miss anything because I predicted this. We all knew this. This is something that we all knew was happening. What I want to talk about, first of all, it's hard to look at you with this makeup.
really
Give you a
fucking crazy,
well,
dog.
I ran like directly off the stand. I didn't even wipe shit off. I was like,
Dude,
fuck
I
it,
think
I'm
they
good.
make you darker, bro.
Did they?
I think so.
If by darker you mean more dudes want to fuck them, then yeah, for sure.
The sexy guy, man. Shit.
Okay, so
Let's get into it.
Here's
Can't
something.
look like Strong J.
Okay, we've already
Don't hate me 'cause I'm beautiful,
We already
motherfucker.
spoke about this for a while, and here's the thing: Kaz is suffering from Nick's delusion syndrome. He has the.
I'm not delusional.
He has the KDS, but not only does he have the KDS, he's also clearly being paid by Dolan and the Knicks organization to spread good vibes, and we understand how the media
PTSD,
works.
Nick's traumatic stress disorder.
Nick's traumatic stress disorder, whatever he just said, the acronym for it, that's what we're going to use.
PTSD with a K.
That was great. I just didn't know how to put the letters in front of it.
Indian
So
channel.
my point is, Kaz. No, it's just I find it curious, right? I find it curious that no matter what the Knicks do, Kaz goes. Now that I think about it, this is a good move. I like it. Bobby Portis, 17 years, $4 billion contract. I like it. This guy's got a future. Have you not been critical once of the Knicks on Twitter? You're getting paid, bro. You're getting paid.
I've been critical of the Knicks all
Name
year
one.
long.
Name one free
All year
agency move.
long.
Name one free
Last
agency
night he was
move.
pissed, but
I
I'm
was
sure he's
pissed the fuck
convinced
off.
himself it's okay.
No, here's
This is
thank
what
you.
convinced himself.
Thank you, bro. No,
That money, bro. That money. They coughing out that money, bro. You're
Here-
part of it, bro. You're part of the problem.
Here's my
You're
thing.
enabling this shit.
Here's my thing, right?
You can't even think of a lie. That's how fucked up this shit is, bro. You can't even make up a lie, dog. Just admit you're getting paid.
I'm not getting paid.
You are, bro.
I'm not getting paid. Last night was the most damning evidence that James Dolan needs to sell the team. He absolutely needs to sell the fucking team.
Where have you been the last 10 years?
So 20 years. He needs to sell the fucking team. without him being on the front line saying this is going to be a great free agency for us, yada yada yada. Looking at what they've done without the fucking KD and Kyrie coke dream that we've had for the past 7 months.
It wasn't a dream. It was a reality. It was there, and they fucked it up.
It was there. Well,
And it was even easier once his Achilles got torn. They just had to sign the check, and he would have walked on over, or limped all over. That's it. But why didn't he
isn't
do
that
it?
same old Knicks though?
What you mean?
If KD doesn't come back the same way,
You take the risk.
you take the risk.
You have
take
to
the
take
risk.
the risk just to be relevant again.
Yeah.
They're,
You
they're
have to
always
take the-
relevant.
No, they're not.
They
No.
suck.
It's over.
They're
No.
still relevant.
They're
they're
only. I'm shocked how much we talk about them on this podcast, and it's only because of y'all. I'm telling you, none of my other group chats with friends who don't live in New York do they talk about the Knicks.
I
they
was
don't give a
hanging
fuck.
out. I was hanging out with some
You're not
people
relevant.
that were in the league. Okay, when I tell you this, these are people that are in the league. They're working for teams. When I tell you that the Knicks are the laughing stock
Yeah.
of the league, when I tell like, even when I bring it up, I'm not even talking about presidents of teams.
Not
I'm
even
talking
just the
about guys
league.
who work on management positions on teams. They're the laughing stock of the league, dude. When they speak about Perry and Mills, they roll their eyes. They can't believe that people that retarded have jobs in those positions. Like they literally go, dude, I don't know what's going on. It is mind-boggling to people that work in the NBA. Something's up, dude. It's a conspiracy. I promise you, he fucked an underage girl. I promise you, Dolan. You know the thing
I believe it, but that I don't know what that has to do with the Knicks. I just believe
Yeah,
it
I was
because
about to say, I don't know.
he's a rich white dude. So he
He
probably did some
fucked an underage girl,
foul
and then
shit.
somebody knows that it happened.
And said you have to make the Knicks bad, or
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell everybody.
Exactly, because they are a big fan of the Celtics. You know how billionaires do. It's just like fun shit. Like, hey, your Knicks are going to be bad. Something happened. You know what they say about Magic Johnson? How he never really had AIDS. He just fucked an underage girl. And they were like, you got to say you had AIDS, or else.
Really?
I've never heard that
Oh,
before
yeah,
in my
dude,
life.
that's a big rumor
I've
about
heard the
Magic.
Isaiah Thomas Magic Johnson shit, but I've never heard that.
That's the rumor about Magic, and that's why he's
Goddamn.
so good with with the AIDS. That's why it never really
that's
affected
why-
him.
So
that's
good
why he
with
beat
the
the
AIDS.
It wasn't really AIDS. Anyway, that's what Dolan has. I promise you, somebody's got something on Dolan. He's doing everything he can to squash this team.
It's just fucking sad. Like, it's just sad.
Listen,
It's
Cavs,
sad.
did Cavs break finally?
No, it's
It's
sad.
getting
Like
close.
it's just
getting
fucking
close.
like it's I can't. If anyone was near me this entire weekend,
yeah.
like I felt the fucking doom and gloom since like Thursday.
Yep.
I'm like the more the days came, I was like it's gonna
You know
be
how
the
fucking
next
stupid
it's
it
gonna
is?
be the next fucking bullet point on like the fucking dark days of being a fucking Knicks fan.
Yep.
If they would have went anywhere else, if Kyrie would have went to LA or KD stays in Golden State going anywhere, like, oh, okay, well, we gave it the good college try.
Nah, you
and
sort of
can
fucked
see
it
why.
up. You signed KD to a deal specifically because he's not playing for a whole year, and you can continue the rebuild that you want, that you think is better. You can continue that.
How?
What
That's
do you mean?
$140 million to somebody. You can't continue to
I thought
No.
you're Mr. We Love the Rookies.
Yeah,
I do love the
so
rookies.
You, hold
What's
on,
the deal?
hold on.
No,
hold
but
on,
the
hold on.
flexibility, that's
Listen,
just your
listen.
point.
You
Okay.
tank again for another year. You get another high pick. Now you have 2 blue chip players. You got 2 more draft picks coming from the Mavericks. Probably another draft pick. Oh, by the way, thanks for KP.
You haven't seen him play yet.
Only move the Mavs.
You haven't seen him play
And we
yet.
signed him to a max deal.
All right. If he goes in there and stinks it up, then what?
Then we're the Knicks. Worst case scenario, we're the Knicks. You guys could have at least said, "Hey, we can get." You had the idea. Hold on, you had the idea. You're on time. You were here on. You were getting another check.
Yeah,
Let
sorry.
it flood! Let it
You're under the idea.
Fuck outta here.
The idea
Let it
that
flood!
the idea that you're nearly. I think you guys think it's you and the Lakers in terms of relevance. I can't. It is the Lakers, then
Who
the
says that
Warriors.
shit?
I think the
Who
one
says
you had.
that shit?
Bro.
All I say is like, yo, literally all I've said all year is like, I
Listen.
want to watch games for the Knicks past February. That's all I've said.
Well, you're not
It ain't
gonna.
gonna happen.
That's all I've said.
Ain't gonna
That's
happen.
all
You're not
I've
gonna.
said.
But you know what?
That's all I've fucking
The
said.
Knicks are no longer New York's team, so you don't have to be concerned about it.
Then that's
I-
already going to be good next year. The KD's not playing.
Knicks are no longer New York's team. So look, here's the reality of the matter.
Well, real quick, here's
Yes,
my
finish,
point.
finish.
You signed KD to a 4-year contract. It's a 3 with a 4th-year player option. He's gonna opt out, or you might even get him a team option if you want to say, look, team option maybe. Maybe you could get that. So you're bad for a year. You tank again. You collect a high draft pick. You have 1 year. KD comes back. Then the next year is probably the last year of his deal. That's how all these contracts work.
Yep.
They're all short-term deals. You sign him to a max just to show the rest of the league, hey, look, we're relevant. And then next year, you still have cap space. You had cap space for 2 max players, right? You signed KD.
Okay.
Then next year, when you say KD is going to be healthy, that's what you sell next year's free agency crop on. Yo, KD
And you
is
let
going to be healthy.
KD do the selling for you. Hey, come on, let's go. Come play with me. Just like Kyrie did to him with the Nets. Listen, I think we can all agree that we had a horrible week, right? I think we can all agree on that.
Terrible week, man.
Terrible week. Now, that being said, I thought that there would be one possible way to make us feel a little bit better about our weeks. And that was if we bring someone on that had quite possibly a worse week than us. Guys, give it up for Francis Ellis. Francis Ellis, guys. One of the most
How you doing, buddy?
prolific and profound writers of our generation.
Yes.
Who's the guy that wrote Catcher in the Rye?
J.D. Salinger.
He's the new J.D. Salinger. Francis Ellis.
What's the Johnny Depp movie where he goes to
wow.
Vegas and he does a lot of drugs? You look like that guy.
Oh yeah, dude, you're on full
and
gonzo
Loathing?
journalism,
Fear
man.
and Loathing in Las
Fear and
Vegas.
Loathing.
Yeah, Hunter S. Thompson.
Hunter S. Thompson.
So this makes me so happy that you could come here and be our emotional cushion because obviously this show is going to be a complete train wreck. We're
Yeah.
just going to start
Oh, yeah.
smacking mics away, probably end up in an all-out Russian brawl. You know, there's like 4-on-4 fights that they
Good.
do.
I love those.
That was going to be nuts.
Yeah.
But
Pull him through this fucking table.
I hear about this amazing story that you went through this week, and as miserable as I was about the Knicks free agency decisions, it gave me a little bit of joy to know that there was somebody that was more miserable than me.
We're really probably good until Thursday.
That's what friends are for, Francis.
I mean, look.
That's what friends are for.
It had been going so well for so long for me that I don't blame God. What do you want me to say? Like, it had to happen.
No.
It had
This
to
is
be
the
an
one. This is the
a
one.
correction. And,
Yeah,
I
hate to
tried
see
to
it.
reach Carl Lentz. He didn't pick up. I was like, Carl, I'm ready. And he was like, not now, who dis? Dude, I didn't even tell you the craziest part.
Can
So
we
what?
give
Can we,
background
like,
to the story
for people? Who, yes.
For people
Yeah.
who don't
Why can't we know
understand.
the craziest part?
No.
Trust me.
No, we don't. So okay. So just background to the story. Okay, I'll let you give the background of the story to give all the perspective.
Yeah.
Additional background. He already gave quite a bit.
So on Friday, I was at work when I had, this was back when I had a job.
Yeah.
And I...
Barstool Francis is now just
Barstool.
Francis.
Yeah. And I wrote, I saw a blog, a story about this girl who had gone missing in Utah. Her name was Mackenzie Lewick. And it was kind of a story that had been covered by a lot of different news outlets. And there were lots of developments in the case. She'd been missing for a week. And the latest update was that her Instagram had been active, that she'd liked a post on Instagram. So her sorority sisters thought this was a very hopeful sign. And they put that over to the FBI.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, wow, there's an interesting thought that, in the
Instagram,
age of
like,
social
could-
media, sorority sisters are finding clues that the FBI is missing. There's your first, possible joke in a blog. And then I read a headline from an article 3 days ago on ABC News that said, no foul play is suspected at this time. And even in the most recent article I had read, they were like, yeah, now they were saying no comment about the foul play thing. But I just thought that the signs were good, about this girl who had gone missing. And I was like, okay, well, and then I also looked at her Instagram based on the whole thing, and I saw that she was a huge fan of one of our podcasts, Call Her Daddy. And I thought, all right.
Love that podcast.
Yeah, this is a story that our audience at Barstool will want to see. Do you know what I mean? And so I chose to write about it, and I didn't even really write any jokes. I started out by saying, let's hope she's okay. And then I was like, and it's good news that the sisters at the sorority have found this. What was the account that she was liking the posts of? And then I included a couple of the posts from that account. It was an account called Fatherless, and it was about... It was girls that have daddy issues or something, and were proud of it. And so I included two thong shots of girls of that account.
Not her.
No, and I was like, this is okay, whatever. I made a couple jokes about that. And then I ended the blog by being let's hope she turns out okay, and that our girls that call her daddy can send her some merch when everything turns up okay. Thoughts and prayers, period. Within 45 minutes of me posting this blog, the news changed and was like, now we have a suspect for her murder. And then an hour after that, it was, we've found her murdered. And at that point, I took the blog down and I was like, I am in big trouble. And then
Listen.
every news
Julius Randle
outlet
doesn't sound too bad.
I'm telling you, like, then the Daily Beast, Deadspin, the Washington Post, Fox News, everybody emailed me and said, hi, I read your article about Mackenzie Lewick, and I'm just wondering, what the fuck were you thinking? Do you care to comment? And that was when I was like, yeah, this is really bad. My boss, Dave, reached out and fired me.
It's just a funny sentence because you don't often hear reached out and fired me.
Now, how did he fire you? Did he give you like
He
a
called
review?
me. He called me.
Did he walk out?
He
Did
was
review
away.
the article like a pizza.
You know, I think
2 out of 10. You're fired, Francis.
Yeah, I think at some point he was just like, we don't have a choice
Yeah.
here, and I totally get it. And then I started working on my statement for all these news outlets, and I put that out. And you know, you guys look, you guys know me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think I'm the type of person that would have written a lighthearted, humorous blog about a girl that I thought was murdered? Of course not, right?
Not right away.
Right. So
Tragedy plus time. You know?
I made a very, very careless mistake.
Forgot the time, dog.
It was one of those things where I just wasn't paying attention.
Unfortunate. It's
And
just
I don't
unfortunate.
even think I was trying to be funny in what I was saying about what I thought was just a missing girl that for whom the news was good. And I'm not defending my actions. You know, I totally understand Barstool's standpoint. I had a wonderful time there. And,
well, they had to fire you.
yeah, right.
But they also had to fire because, like, they're the type of people that want to toe the line. And they're going to get a lot of heat for toeing the line.
Right.
When they cross the line, they got a clip because they know there's a bunch of people out there waiting for that
them,
line
yeah.
to be crossed.
And
right?
like, and the timing of it, because I think they just did like the HBO
Yep.
thing a couple days ago. That was just like
Chernobyl?
no, not Chernobyl.
No,
but like,
Barstool
they did the
didn't
thing
do
on
that. That was a great piece.
It's a great piece about it. No, they
Chernobyl.
did some on Real Sports where they just kind of like went inside Barstool and like
Yeah.
all in their workings, and you know everybody
Were you
had
on
their
that piece?
own-
Chernobyl?
No, the
I wish I had been on that piece. I wish I had.
you are a
lived.
little bit radioactive right now.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
kind of.
I've been that way since I was 3. When the hair. Anyway, I don't even like. I'm so just like dazed and kind of like worn out. I mean, it's been insane. But I will tell you guys this.
Hey, you know what? Every time you think about how shitty it is, you could always be the girl.
Oh my god.
Oh, I should have run this by my agent. I knew. I should. Moments like this. I need
I knew it was coming. I saw you. I saw it winding up in your
Oh my
fucking
god!
head.
A self-imposed
About
restraining
peripheral.
order. Let me tell you something. I'm going to deflect a little bit here.
Sometimes don't do it.
He called me and started advising me on how to handle it, and I won't even do him the disservice of telling you what he told me to do because what he said was so insane to me. It was like, you gotta lean in, you gotta be cracking jokes about it.
No,
And I was-
I didn't say it exactly.
no, but you told me what you would have
You
done.
know what's funny is you said you weren't going to say it, and then you immediately said it. I'm beginning to think you got a little problem with saying things you know you shouldn't say.
I don't even know where I am right now.
So I get
As soon as I saw you, like I went in the group chat and saw you were coming to the show, I was like, oh no.
I wanted to ask, but
I got a call.
Like, all right.
I got a couple texts. KFC hit me. A couple other people hit me. So I was like, "What's going on?" I go look at it, and I call you immediately. You were doing something, so we spoke the next day.
Yeah.
And My feeling for you, just as your friend, I was like, okay, there's a lot of gravity on you right now. You need to make a decision that's going to be what's going to happen after Barstool.
Yeah.
So you could use the gravity to make a move, right? And we basically had the conversation, which is, what is that move going to be? Do you want to be the dark dude? Do you want to be, or do you want to go, hey, this is a fuck up of mine, and there's no way in hell I could possibly, predict the future. Which is, I think, what really happened here. And after we spoke on the phone, the sentiment I got from you, why I want you to come on and talk about it, is this the chain of events that happened. It is comically awful.
Yeah.
Like the fact that
Like
she
if I had
gets
to watch
announced
this on
dead
a sitcom, I'm thinking it's
within
hilarious.
45 minutes of the article coming out. It's almost as if they were waiting for your article
Yeah.
before they, did the deed or whatever, right?
Right.
Because you never see this kind of thing happen, and it sucks because if Barstool wasn't already super edgy, let's say this was New York Times or something like that, and you were writing an article for the New York Times, I don't think you lose your job.
Yeah.
I think they go, there is no way in hell he could have possibly predicted this. There's no way in hell.
Right.
Look at anything he's written in the past. Has he ever put anything out there that was nefarious or malicious intent?
No.
Without a doubt. But because they are already operating in that edgy world, they had to protect
It's
themselves.
like, oh, look at these Barstool guys again. Look at
Yes.
them going
Right.
jumping.
I told you about
across the line,
Barstool.
all
I
this other
told you. I
shit,
told you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a problem.
and you guys know. I mean, look, this was not on Barstool at all.
No. No.
And I tried to make sure that people knew that the news knew that. Like, we are given liberty to publish our own work once we've proven ourselves there. And I've been there for 2.5 years. For the first year that I was there, I had the training wheels on. I had the editor-in-chief checking all of my work before it was posted. And then I had been, promoted basically to being a senior writer. And for a year and a half, I put out, thousands and thousands of pieces of content.
You're writing how many a day?
4.
So he's writing 4 blogs a day. So think about this.
I don't miss those days.
But you're how many days a week are you working?
Every
in a
day.
year?
Every day.
So
5.
So
Ain't
what is
no-
it? What does that end up being? Like 300 days a year or something?
It's 5/7 of 365.
There's no off day when you're doing like news media.
But
like
point
that.
is,
250 days a year.
You're
Point
there.
is, it's
About 1,000 articles a year.
minimum 1,000
Yeah.
articles a year.
Right.
You're one.
Dude,
There's one with blowback. I mean, you've had other ones where people had negative opinions towards,
Sure.
but it was never like, how could you?
Right.
Clearly, this was not your intent.
Right.
And what we've always said, at least on this show, is like, we're judging people based on their intent, not your interpretation. It's easy to interpret this as you're a piece of shit
right.
in the article. But clearly, if you knew that the person was dead, wouldn't you have mentioned it in the article? It's obvious you didn't.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're expecting the
Matter of fact, the
vast
more-
majority.
I
of-
wasn't.
of
I was
people
not
think-
betting
Hear about this
against
story?
this girl.
I don't
was
think you
not
should have got
betting
fired.
against-
No.
I don't think you should
Bro,
have.
I was in the text. I don't
Yeah,
get it.
Akash immediately
Yeah,
defended
me
it.
and him were in a group chat going back and forth where I was like, clearly I didn't want you to lose your job, but I'm like, I understand why Barstool had to do what they did.
Yeah.
And he was like, I have no idea why they did what they did. And I'm trying to explain to him, and he literally had no idea why.
I don't.
You're
Let me-
Billy Bush. Do you remember when Billy Bush got fired because of the Trump grab the pussy thing?
I do. Yeah.
It's like, what? You didn't do anything wrong. The girl was alive when you wrote it.
as far as I knew. But
My
you know what?
question-
Let me tell you what I did wrong.
Okay.
I was lazy. I could have read more and researched the piece more, and I would have seen signs that said, this is not looking good. Don't touch it. And I didn't. And it was just a really careless thing that came off as wildly insensitive. And if you actually break it down to a human level, you remember this is not a young woman who was a tabloid story. This was a young woman with a family that had been going through the horrors of not knowing where she was for an entire week.
Yeah.
A community that was fucking bereaved and freaking out and anxious to all hours of the night. And here I come, some comedian trying to profit off of it for the sake of laughs. I mean, it's It's hard. It's perverse in a way.
Is it though? Isn't that what we do?
Well, it wasn't that funny. That was my big issue with
It
the
wasn't.
article.
It wasn't.
But here's where I realized my question was, why would you write the article? And now I hear you have to write 4 articles a fucking day.
So you're looking for the
That's a
interesting
lot.
stories.
You're just trying to find something that I can write about.
Yeah, and exactly. And it was like,
with some connective tissue, right? You saw the Call Her Daddy thing. You're like, okay,
That's
bro,
right.
this comes back to Barstool. Let me have a take on this. Yeah.
that's exactly right. And I'm not defending my decision.
I am.
I'm qualifying it.
I'm
right?
defending it.
Well,
But that's okay. You don't have to
you
be.
wouldn't have written it though, right?
Oh, I'd definitely write a joke about it if she wasn't dead yet. If in my mind she's not. I mean, I have a joke about Bundy,
Yeah.
and I don't even want to get into it, but it's like pretty bad, and
Right.
they are all dead.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
We
Right.
workshopped this joke on this podcast.
Did we the Bundy one? Not
Maybe.
the Bundy.
But there's another element to it, which is that you have established yourself as a person who goes there,
Right.
and has a, as I've said to you, has a mastery of delivering those jokes where even the most ardent, angry person can't help but see the humor in what
Right.
you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And as Akash said, I mean, who knows if somehow I had made it funny,
It's not a discussion.
maybe it's not as bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dude, maybe if it was humorous, they look at it like there's no possible way he could know that this person is dead.
Right.
And maybe the fact that it wasn't, maybe the fact that it was quite literal, they were going, oh shit, look how evil this guy is.
Yeah. But someone wrote like, look,
Perfect storm,
The
man.
Washington Post and the Deadspin were fine. They were fair. And then there was one guy at the Daily Beast. I
I
want
read
to say
that.
his
That was the
name.
one
They
I got
suck,
sent.
by the
That
way.
one was so insane. He said that his title was Barstool Sports blogger slut shames
Yeah.
a murdered girl or something like that. It was slut shames. And if you look at the blog that I wrote, no
That's-
rational person would ever say that.
Yeah, but are
that's
you-
insulting to her.
To her,
that
yeah.
he said that.
Are you familiar with Daily Beast though?
Not really.
So Daily
Kind
Beast,
of what they do.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they are the clickbait,
Yeah.
BuzzFeed, a periodical of I think England, right? Aren't they out of the UK or something like that? You got something in the beer, bring it.
Oh, my fault.
You're good. So it's like they have to put the buzzwords in the title.
Fair.
So they're like, okay, what's a buzzword that could go with dead girl, slut shame, boom.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and then in the article, he goes back through work that I've written over the last 2.5 years, and I had written once a blog about how attracted I was to a fellow male coworker, and it was a whole fantasy piece about how I wanted to have sex with him.
Right.
And
I got a lot of
and
those in
he-
a diary.
And he wrote, that I was homophobic.
Because you liked your male coworker.
Yeah.
I read. So this is the article I read, and I read the excerpts he put out because the blog's been deleted. I would love to get that, by the way. I didn't see what was so like fireable. What was the thing that I'm like, oh, that specific
It was
thing?
the choice to touch it at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was off limits.
I honestly think if and Andrew brought it up before, if you wrote that for any other publication, they're not firing
Right.
you for that.
Even-
Because it happens literally
Right.
every day.
Even if I
Like,
had
every
written a
newspaper-
blog that was like, this girl's missing, if anyone knows where she is, report it to your authorities.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope she's okay, period, end. I don't even know if that, people would be like, why did you do that? I wouldn't get fired, obviously, but they'd be
Yeah.
like, don't fucking, what's not what we're doing here?
Yeah.
So,
It's like if you're watching 2020 or like fucking one of them back in the day shows like a current affair about like missing peoples or America's Most Wanted or whatever. Like
Yep.
you're not gonna get mad at fucking what's the guy's name? John Walsh? What the fuck his name? Danny Walsh? I don't know.
the guy who would do it at the
Yeah,
end.
like literally, he makes a living off of this stuff,
Right.
and it's not just like it's a missing persons report. There's always like a story that makes them relatable.
Yeah.
So like, oh man, this could have been somebody you're friends with. Like
Right.
that's what makes it a story. That's what makes it a series. Like you don't fucking go shit on Joe Walsh or Jim Walsh, whatever the fuck the guy's name
Right.
is,
Right.
for that kind of story. But I honestly think it's the Barstool name. It's if it was anywhere else, they'd be like, oh man, it's just fucking unfortunate.
and that's fair. And if, if that is the case, then Barstool still isn't to blame for me
course
being
not. No,
fired.
no, I don't think
because
so.
I have to know as an employee there
That's
where I am,
Mm-hmm.
and that I can't do certain things. As freeing as it was to write there, and knowing you could kind of go as close to the edge as you possibly wanted, more than anywhere else. there is a responsibility that comes with that, which says like, hey, you know, if you go over the fucking line,
They'll cut
you're
your
toast.
ass. Yeah.
And that's what happened to me.
So what do you think? What do you think you do now, man?
You know, I want to say this.
You got a bit?
The whole well, I am working on a bit about that, which was that I was fired on the way to meeting my girlfriend's parents for the first time.
Holy shit.
I was on the train down to their lovely bucolic home in Pennsylvania. And I walked in as everyone was already seated at the dinner table, a fired man with a story that I had to tell. Why did you get fired? Well, I tried to make light of a girl
That was kidnapped.
who had been kidnapped and murdered.
But no, you didn't know she was murdered. Just kidnapped.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even know she was kidnapped.
You didn't?
Dude, I thought she was just when I saw no foul play suspected, that registered to me as she's gone off because she wanted to.
Oh, if you didn't even know she was kidnapped, then you're completely innocent in this whole thing. They should have never fired you at all.
Well, they have
You
to.
can't predict the future. Fuck, they have to.
No.
Now I'm really upset about this.
No, because then I did see that they had changed the status from no foul play to suspected to no comment.
But didn't you also write in the article that like how do they not suspect foul play? Didn't you say
No,
something
I
like
didn't
that?
say that, and I said no foul play was suspected, which was looking good, but now they're saying this, and they're digging in the neighbor's backyard, and it's not looking good.
Well, all right, whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's go back to you telling your girl's parents. So how did that happen?
So I sat down, you know, and I'm meeting her parents, and her stepdad is a pilot, so he plays the whole world by the book. The
Yeah.
guy is so doesn't do
He's
any.
looking for a provider for his
Yeah,
daughter.
and he's just on time.
Yeah.
and a fucking Boy Scout, and here I come, you know.
So what do you do,
unemployed,
Dave?
fired, and written about in every outlet.
And how did they take it?
They were pretty cool about it. But
Really?
for the sake of being on stage, I'll probably change that story.
Or maybe make them
When they
cool
ask what
about
you
it.
do for a living, they say, Francis, what, tell me about your job. What'd you say? You told them?
I said I was just fired, actually. Yeah. And why? And, well, because I wrote a blog. What could that have been?
Oh, wow.
And had to kind of get into the whole story. So, the thing I want to say though is this: we live it, and I know you and I have had many conversations about this. We live in this cancel culture.
Right.
Wait.
This moment gave me hope.
Right.
It was encouraging to me because once I put out my statement and I told my story, the overwhelming response on the internet was forgiving. People made it clear they were able to differentiate between my mistake and all these people who have come before me that we've canceled. And I had the executive producer at the Ellen DeGeneres show tweeting kind of his forgiveness and support. I had a writer at the New York Times, this woman who also said this is a tremendous apology, you know, good luck or whatever. I mean, it wasn't the scalping that I thought I was going to walk myself into.
Yeah.
And that gave me hope.
Yeah. Well, it's because you didn't do anything bad, in my opinion. Like, let's say this girl just didn't call home for a little while and then she was found. That article's completely fine, right?
I wondered about that. What do you think?
You're fine.
You think if she turns up
You're
and
fine.
there's she just was like camping for something?
I honestly don't even think it's if she gets found alive or dead or not. I really thought it was just because it's a Barstool article and it's here come these Barstool fucks again, like not giving a fuck. Like they already have the reputation that they have.
But if she doesn't die, right? She just comes back and she was like, "My bad, guys. I was in Dubai. I didn't have my phone.
I mean, it's not
couldn't do this."
necessarily
all of a sudden you're just a guy who wrote the article that was, I guess, accurate in this certain situation, and you're not a piece of shit. Nobody's upset because she's alive, right? They're so happy that she's alive, they're not worried about your little article. The only problem is that she ends up dead, and you had no clue that she would be dead.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? I wasn't even playing the odds. It wasn't a coin flip to me.
Right.
I thought because I made a fucking assumption,
Right.
I had convinced myself she was alive and
Yeah.
fine. And that's where I went wrong.
Can you write an article about the Knicks management and front office? Because I would love it if they were found dead. That would be perfect. If you could write your first blog about Perry, Mills, Dolan, and Fizdale, that would be perfect.
I will happily write. I'll have to just come up with my own fucking blog. Check me out at
Stoolbar Sports.
WordPress.com/.
Toolbar Sports.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So what do you think's next, Francis? Talk to us.
I'm going to start a podcast.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
You should.
Goody.
You should.
Good.
I want to get
goody.
all of you on it.
Please.
Yes.
Hey, buddy.
It's going to be
Please.
the four of us every episode. And there we have. This is my podcast. And I'm thrilled. We're all set up here.
We will support, man.
You're welcome. And appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to start a podcast. And I think a lot of people who loved hearing me on Sirius XM every morning with Willie and Large are going to be excited to tune in, I hope. And I don't want to be seen as like profiting from my demise at Barstool, but this is
gotta
what
make
I
a living.
do. This
Yeah.
is my job. I'm a comedian, and I'm going to move forward and try to build things. And I have no intention of switching industries. Obviously, this was a huge blow, losing a tremendous job at a great company.
You'll be all right.
But that's what I'm going to do. I
I
want to
mean, you
keep,
weren't going to be at Barstool forever.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Right.
You did your time. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
put in your time. Now you got to find a way to, harness all the fans and supporters that you made over there. So
Yeah.
podcast is good, but
This is the guy to talk to. This is Mr. Independent right here.
I know.
yeah, let's talk.
He's a chance to rap or
Well,
comedy.
I do want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about all the different vessels through which one can build a podcast. And
Let's do it. We'll have a
yeah.
we'll definitely have a talk. But I agree. I think the tricky thing, and we spoke about this.
He's
over
busy,
the phone.
so you're gonna have to. Your schedule's
know.
wide open. His not so much. So you're
it
gonna have
is
to.
wide open. I mean, the Hamptons are only so nice this time of year, so it's like, how do I maximize my time on Dad's boat?
The tricky thing really is, I think, and we had this conversation is you straddling traditional industry and independent. An independent career path, right? And both are still viable options for you. I think you got out of this scandal pretty well,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
I
You know what
honestly
I mean?
think we're in a time where people aren't just looking at headlines and being like, "Oh fuck, get this guy out of here." Like people are actually starting to use their minds and be like, "All right, well, it's the worst I could probably hear somebody saying is like, oh, it's just fucking unfortunate for that family and that girl to probably have to read that and all
Right.
that shit." But
Yeah.
nobody's
Of
like,
of course.
I don't think anyone's like, this guy's a fucking piece of
No.
shit or anything like
This
that.
was not
Like,
a
it's-
pattern of my
No,
behavior.
no.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I think
You'll be all right.
no. I think you'll be fine. I think you just got to figure out exactly what it is you want, what it is that you're going to do, and I think it's got to be a compilation of both. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody can do like just traditional media. I think they got to do some independent stuff as well.
Totally.
But it's out there.
You know,
There's no better time
you
to do it
fucked
than
up.
now, man.
Yeah.
But people, I mean, you didn't really fucked up. Things were fucked up that happened. And yeah, you are worried about the trauma that maybe was caused, with the family. You know what I mean? I mean, who knows? That family was probably trying to get a little bit of distraction from their missing daughter, probably reading Barstool articles. And then,
Jesus
Right.
Christ.
Let's
Well,
hope not.
I mean-
oh man.
this one fucking guy who cracks me up. You know what I mean? I love this guy. He hates pit bulls. I hate pit bulls.
There you go. Yeah, I hope they
I
weren't
know
readers
you
of
want
mine.
me.
I don't. But
you want
who
me.
knows? That would suck. That would
So
suck.
while we're making enemies, why do you hate pit bulls so much?
Well,
Bro, no one hates pit bulls more than Francis.
Really?
I
Why do you
didn't
hate
like
pitbulls?
them.
When you first
and then
moved to New York, did you live around a lot of Puerto Ricans or something? What?
A lot of DMX videos growing up.
You know, I was a huge Mike Vick fan growing up, and then all that happened.
Bulls took him away from you.
We missed his prime. 3 years of his prime.
Gave the pit
My God, how many MVPs would he have won? How many
least,
scrambling
at least.
yards? How many
He
walk-off
was made
scrambles?
for today's game, goddammit.
I had a red authentic jersey when
shit.
he played for the Falcons.
Greatest-
I spent all my raking money. I would rake yards
Oh my
for my
gosh.
neighbors. I spent all of that money on buying that jersey, and the moment I bought it, he went to prison.
Greatest video game character of all time, by the way.
Madden was
Mike
it
Vick, that
07
Madden
or
07,
something?
I think so.
Yeah, he was on the
Oh,
cover. Yeah,
the
he was-
GOAT. Him and Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl, like the two most unstoppable
Unbelievable,
yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
video game players that ever
Yeah.
live or be made or whatever.
So the pit bulls take Mike Vick from you.
They take him, and then
You start to have a little disdain for these pit bulls.
And
You're
then
like,
I started reading the statistics, and it was pretty damning. And then
what are the statistics? Just to fill us in.
50, the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. I got this, bro. Are you a pit bull owner? Are there any pit bull owners in here?
If only you did this amount of research on another
Absolutely. At least then they'd be like, well, he's an asshole, but he did his research.
He's
story. He's a journalist too.
Yeah.
He's a journalist, goddammit.
Yeah.
Doing his
But
job.
go on, Children's Hospital.
Philadelphia Children's Hospital did a study of all dog
Just hold it.
attacks
Just hold
on
it.
children for like a 7-year period from 1999 to 2006 or something.
Okay.
And of all the dog.
I got it, son. I got it. Go on.
Of all the violent dog attacks, 51% of them were from pit bulls. The next highest breed was Rottweilers at 14%.
Wow, that's a steep drop off.
And then it went to like 6% at like
Dobermans,
Dobermans,
yeah.
Dalmatians, whatever down from there. It was so lopsided. And
How many golden retrievers or labs?
as far as I know, 0.
Wow, it's almost like
Those dogs are wonderful.
there's certain dogs that are bred to be nice and pets, and other dogs that are kind of bred to just eat people.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
children's faces.
Pit bulls.
And I had
It
blogged
depends
this.
how the pit bulls are raised, though.
Does it?
It does.
Dude.
It does. I've seen some cuddly ass pit bulls, bro. Like,
Yeah, well, here we go. Yeah, everyone can find a picture of an adorable pit bull.
Yeah.
How about you Google like
if they're
nightmare
training them
pit bull?
in the fucking
Yeah. Okay, let's
dog
go to
There
that.
you
Like,
go.
Like,
That's the
come
pit
on.
bull
now
I know.
just imagine a
at
9-year-old's
his fucking
face in
arms.
between
Holy
those teeth
shit.
right there.
Yeah. So fine. I wrote this blog after an emotional support pit bull attacked a young girl in the Portland, Oregon airport. And
That dog actually looks like
immediately
Julius Randle a
the
little
pit
bit.
bull lobby came after me, and they were more vicious than the dogs. And
I don't know about that.
it's hard to be, but they were like threatening my life and all this. And then I'm not kidding you. 6 months later, my dad, my mom, and our 2 delightful yellow labs, Milu and Rosie, were walking down the dock at the marina for a picnic on our boat, and they passed a
Oh
guy.
my fucking
That
goodness.
is the whitest sentence
Oh
ever
my
completed in this entire
fucking
podcast.
goodness.
It gets less
Nobody's
white.
feeling sorry for you after that sentence.
So your mom and dad, who are still happily married,
Yep. 33 years.
33 years. You and who else?
And I wasn't there.
Okay.
And they're our 2 dogs.
Yeah.
Milu and Rosie, both yellow labs, and they're older yellow labs, 10 and 11, were walking happily down the dock, and there was a guy in his boat, and he had, I think, 2 pit bulls with him, and one of them jumped out of the boat, and the guy was like, "Wait!" But it was too late. And it latched onto Rosie's neck and
fuck.
bit down, and they couldn't get it detached. And Rosie didn't know what to do. She wasn't fighting back. She was being mauled. And my dad tried to push the dog off, and it
Oh,
bit him
boy.
through the webbing of his hand.
Yeah.
So Rosie had like 16 staples in her neck, and they had to put a drain in. My dad had to get stitches all through his hand, and it was almost like pit bulls had read my blog. Honestly, it was like, yeah, you're gonna say it about us? Well, we're gonna do exactly what you think we're gonna do, and they fucking killed my family. And I can show you guys the pictures of it. It was insane to me. It was so karmic, and so that just completely reaffirmed every thought I ever had about pit bulls, and that's why I don't like them.
So we should get rid of pit bulls, is what you're trying to say.
No,
Make
no,
them illegal
no.
to be pets.
It is look, I don't know where you guys stand on guns,
Yeah.
but it is exactly the same fucking argument that we have about guns. For
Ooh.
sensible people, right? Sensible pit bull reform. Okay?
Okay. I see where you're going with that.
Pit bulls.
good.
So many of the owners
Yeah.
refuse to get them neutered or spayed, right? And in a lot of states, that's required. A lot of cities, I think it's New York, it is
New York is
required.
definitely one,
But
yeah.
a lot of these places, they don't do it. And something like some vast majority of the pit bulls that do commit these vicious attacks are unneutered, unspayed. And if you did that, you are lowering, especially with the males, you are lowering their testosterone and you are making them a lot more docile. And it's the same thing where it's like, okay, do we really need fucking people to be able to buy AK-47s and, semi-automatic assault rifles?
It's almost like somebody should have a fucking a screening to be like, hey, you probably shouldn't have a fucking machine gun,
Right,
or
bump
maybe
stock, load, like the high caliber, whatever, the huge magazines of bullets.
But do you think it's similar to a gun where once you own one, you're like, oh no, this is the shit?
It
I
could
definitely
be.
think we
It
should
could
have
be.
it.
You want to hear? You know who's a huge fan of pit bulls?
Burr.
Willie.
Girls. Wow. No.
Close?
It's women who jog at night.
Yeah,
It makes perfect sense.
for sure.
It's a
I
gun.
bet they're a big fan
yeah.
of guns too.
There was an
It's a
article
gun.
I wrote
Any
about.
girl who's not a fan of getting raped in a park is probably a fan of
And that's
having
most
a pit bull.
women.
Yeah.
Protection, yeah.
What
Yeah.
girl would not want protection as she's running at night?
Right. Right.
What
So
about
why
the
would
women
you
who like
run at
being
night?
raped? No, I'm
Not
just
trying to blame you, but of all the times you could run, why the fuck do it at night in Central Park?
The answer to that is that some women's work schedules only
There
permit
you
them
go.
to run at night.
Oh yeah, what time are they waking up to work?
I don't know. Maybe they work 2 or 3 jobs.
A woman working 2 to 3 jobs. Are you out of your fucking mind?
There are a lot of single moms out there. I don't know where they are.
Ugly
My
is this
mom
girl you're
was great.
describing? That she's working 2 to 3 jobs.
See,
You want me to get?
this would have
Hey,
gotten me
we're not
fired.
going there.
Wow.
Dude, are you
A fourth job is what I'm saying. God
Oh my God.
damn. Everybody.
But no, there's no way 2 to 3
God,
jobs.
this is gonna be a rough
You know a
one.
girl that has 2 to 3 jobs?
No. No.
Who has 2 to 3 jobs?
I don't know. I was just like, the other argument is like, well, why don't they run on a treadmill? And it's like, well, they shouldn't have to do that. The problem, of course, is with men who attack women who are jogging. And that's absolutely true. But having said that, because I covered this whole story
If
too.
I don't want to get hit on, I don't go into a gay bar. Now, it's not their fault. Now, yeah, maybe they shouldn't sexually harass me by grabbing my butt. That being said, I'm increasing the proximity of my ass to guys who are going to grab it
How
by
many gay
walking
people
into the gay bar.
hit on you?
Say again?
How many gay people hit on
I'm
you?
giving the hypothetical I'm
not enough for me.
about to say-
I'm actually offended by how few.
now, the hypothetical I'm giving you is that I'm putting myself in a position where that could potentially happen. Simple as
Unfortunately, Andrew, this does place the blame inherently on the women.
No, what it doesn't blame them for doing it. The action is always the person who commits the crime. What I'm saying is you're making a conscious choice to put yourself in a position where crimes get committed. For example, if I'm walking around with my brand new Ferrari and I'm leaving the keys in a bad neighborhood and it gets stolen, what do people say to me?
That was stupid of you. You shouldn't have done it. Right?
But are you victim blaming me for shouldn't I be allowed to park my car in any neighborhood I would like to park it?
right.
No, my shit got stolen because I made a decision
Right.
to park it in a neighborhood where shit gets stolen.
So your point is fair. In what I would add to it is that even as a man and a larger man, I would not run through a bad neighborhood
Exactly.
at night. Gender be damned. It's irrelevant. Like if you think that where you're running requires you to carry mace,
Don't run.
do it.
Now, we're not victim blaming. We're protecting you. We're trying to put, what would you tell your daughter? It's very simple. And I would ask women to do the same thing. What would you tell your daughter? Would you advise your daughter to run in the park at night? If you found out your daughter moved to New York City, right? You're about to have a daughter.
Yeah.
What would you tell her if she wants a little jog at night?
I got a treadmill at home.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Why is it crazy when you give people advice that
I mean,
could
we
save their lives?
obviously people who think like us don't think like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we would love to live in the world where I can park my car wherever. A woman can wear whatever she wants, and there's no rapists. And
Yeah.
but this is the world we live in.
Yes, we
Yeah.
live in reality.
We live in the
Right.
world where these things happen, and we try our best to minimize damage.
And we
no
also have
matter
to
which-
acknowledge these people that are rape and shit, these people are animals, right? They're not human beings, so they're not operating on the same empathetic level that we operate on, right? So what do you tell people when
Right.
there are animals around? Very similar to this pit bull situation. Right? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey,
They're criminals.
Criminals
These
don't
are
adhere to-
deranged
Yeah.
people that will not abide by the structures of society.
so stop hoping that they will.
Right, exactly.
You're in a zoo.
Yeah.
You're in the fucking zoo. Yeah, so don't be surprised when the animals do fuck shit. basically that's what it is. Now, Francis, if you'll continue to join us, hopefully we've done some good PR for you. Maybe we've ruined your
I
career
wonder.
even further.
I might need to look at this.
You might need to.
All
It's
right.
fine. But
Yeah, all right.
I think that we got a lot of good sports stuff that we need to touch on, man. A lot with this free agency.
Man.
Bunch
Great.
of very interesting stories.
Wild.
And
A whole lot.
one I'd like to touch on, which is a little bit odd, but I don't think it got enough. It got enough buzz, but I was fascinated by it. Nikola Mirotic
4 years, 100 million.
from.
Orlando. Oh, no.
No,
I'm thinking Vucevic.
this is a
My
different.
fault.
This is different.
Mirotic
So
in Spain.
Nikola Mirotic played last year for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes.
Incredible season. Was very effective on the Bucks. Was looking to, I think, this year get a contract worth something like maybe $60 million. $60 million.
Yeah.
4 years, $60 million, something like that. Chooses to leave the NBA and play for Barcelona in Spain.
Got 80 million in Spain, tax free.
Wait a minute.
American dollars.
And I did not know what he got offered.
Yeah.
What was the offer?
4 years, $80 million tax free in Spain.
See, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is fascinating that other countries are outbidding. I thought he went because he didn't want to play with, this American style. He wanted to be a star of the team.
I'm sure that figured into it, but it's like
4 years, $80 million tax free. That is literally
160
that's like signing a $150 million deal.
Yeah, exactly.
holy
It's enormous. And I just a quick side note. You know where this is? Nowhere is this more poignant than with women basketball players.
Oh, for sure.
They go to Russia.
Yeah.
And the oligarchs in Russia have this weird-eyed thing going where their favorite hobby is to buy women's basketball teams and spend as much money as they can. And all the best WNBA players are going
where they
over
all go.
there because they're getting paid fucking orders of magnitude more than what they can make in
It's
the
their
WNBA.
dogfighting.
Yeah. Well, Jesus.
Wow.
It is. It really is. Or like their, what is it?
I wouldn't have voted with that.
and it's, what is cockfighting or whatever like that, right? It's
Minus the cocks.
yeah, literally.
My gosh.
Yeah, it's just a fun little thing to watch them play.
Yeah.
And it is their, it's no different than like having a yacht, or it just becomes one of their, luxuries in life.
Right,
the fact
'cause
that
it's
you
not
own a female
profitable.
basketball
No.
team.
Yeah,
it's
But
just
I also think there's part
entertaining.
of it, which is there's a little part of them that's going, I'm buying Americans.
Oh, interesting.
And I think that they know they can't afford to get the American male basketball players, but they do like the fact that these Americans need them, especially American women. Like, because what do? We buy their brides, right?
Oh.
I mean, it's not
So
all
it's like
American women on
we're
these things.
gonna cook up. Oh, you guys are gonna buy all our women. All right, boom. We're gonna buy some of yours, and we're gonna buy your best because you guys can't even afford to pay them what they deserve in America. I think there's a little bit of
You're
it.
like the only person I know who could possibly have come up with that.
Bro,
And I don't know if that's
I'm
a compliment.
fascinated. I'm fascinated. I'm going to Russia to do shows, by the way. Shouts to Russia if any of you guys listen. But I'm fascinated with Russia because I figured out why Russians got the hottest chicks in the world. I put it together. So World War II, how many Russians die?
Tens of millions.
25 million minimum.
Yeah.
That's the rough estimate. 25 million minimum.
Yeah.
Didn't Stalin kill
Like
like
that they
10 million
found.
of his own?
Yeah. And I think Stalin was responsible for killing tons of his own. A bunch of them just
Yeah.
freeze, etc. But 25 million Russians die, right? Now, these are Russian men. Keep that in mind, right? So now you have this massive surplus of women in the population, okay? So any dude that makes it back from war has his pick of the litter. And if he's not PTSD'd or alcoholic, etc., if he has any semblance of a job, he has 10 chicks. I was speaking to a buddy of mine who grew up out there. He said 10 chicks minimum, like 10 women minimum, and they're willing to be on board. So you have the hottest women on the already very attractive, right? And men who have their pick of whoever.
Love it.
So you're just breeding with the hots. The uglies die out.
Fuck.
So now you have 2 or 3 or 4 generations later, only the attractive, the most attractive of Russian women could get dick.
Right.
Only them. So now these babies for the next 3 or 4 generations are just based on hot Russian pussy. And now if you go on Instagram right now, you got a million different Russian Instagram model pages where they all have 1 million followers, and they're the baddest bitches you've ever seen in your life. So I'll be there in September.
Wow. What? Well, that is
I don't know how we
awesome.
follow that.
How,
Alex, you ready, bro?
God damn.
I love that. Now, what is the language like? I mean, do they have bilingual comedy clubs, and like, how does that work?
I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. I'm just gonna look at those stupid cathedrals they got with the pointy tips.
But you're performing, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna do one show, and then the rest is just kind of like looking at shit.
That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
how you write off all
That's
your
great.
expenses.
I think I'll go for like 4 or 5 days.
That's great.
Or we'll go
Sick.
for like 4 or 5 days. Hopefully, Alex can get in. He is an international
I
felon.
was about to say, like, they might.
Okay, but not to.
They didn't take your passport?
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
But not to get too crazy or not to get too off topic. I just find it interesting when players that could play in the NBA choose to play overseas.
there was somebody else who went
Josh
overseas
Childress
too,
did
right?
that years ago.
Josh Childress was the first one to play in Greece, and I heard he got fucked over. I heard they didn't even pay the whole thing.
Really?
And that is a problem in some of these countries. Like you go play in Turkey, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got you, $20 million," and then that check doesn't get cashed.
Sean Livingston went over there, I think.
Oh really?
I think after he
Pat
broke
Beverly
his
went there for a
leg or
while,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, he blew out
he
his
went
knee.
over abroad. There are Sasha Vujacic went
Yep.
abroad. I mean, but that's obvious.
Pat Bev went there for a little bit.
Barcelona.
Yeah, Barcelona.
Spain, you're good.
Yeah.
Spain, you're good. But if you go to certain places, it can get dicey. You might not get paid.
Oh, for sure.
Well, the highest. I was under the impression the highest market was in China.
I was about to say, I just hosted the thing for Slam about Stephon Marbury.
Yeah.
About like how much money he made over in China, and like they are basketball and almost probably to the same effect of you with like Russian women.
Yeah.
And how they love men's basketball and shit like that. Like he's like Jordan over there.
Yeah,
like
but-
he's
but
definitely
he-
made way more money over there than he did
Business
in the NBA.
wise,
Yeah.
not his contracts, but
Maybe
based
not-
on
I
the
mean,
business.
His
even for
contracts
his
were
contract,
high,
it's
but
probably-
he
yeah.
would be paid like 90% of the team's salary.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
a superstar.
He was the only face in China that anybody cared to go see. And then Jimmer Fredette spent a long time over there, too.
Very true.
It's interesting because,
Why don't Nate Robinson do that?
dude, he
He
should.
would get paid
I think he's still got
crazy
dreams
over there,
of being
but, you know,
over here.
A lot of people, literally any NBA player with any name could go over to China and make tons of millions
Dude,
of dollars.
especially if
over
you
there.
learn some of the language. Sometimes I'll watch these YouTube videos of black guys that speak Chinese or Japanese speaking to Japanese people and surprising them, and it's just the best.
Like with
Because the
Kawhi.
they can't. No. Like they cannot believe the
Right.
black guys that are fluent. They cannot believe that the black guy speaks, and at first they're like a little nervous, and they're like, "How do you know that?"
It's not even because like it's not for black people in China. More so than just being good at basketball, like they just don't see black people
At all.
Period.
Fat
over
people
there.
either.
So like when they go over there, like one of my boys over there went to go play in China, and they just come up to you and like
Touch you.
and like touch your face, like oh my god, I never, you know what I'm saying? So it's almost
Yeah.
like you're an attraction.
You're a
just
celebrity.
being there, especially if you're already famous. You know,
I'm
so-
curious as to why they can't play defense against guards. like China makes decent tall guys, right? They make decent power forwards, and like some of them have had somewhat success in the league, not
Yi
tons, but they-
Jianlian.
yeah, like they
Yao
can.
is the
Yao is obviously the biggest one, but
Yeah.
they've had other power forward type players that can play that kind of like stretch 4, right? Even stretch 5. But for whatever reason, the guards, I don't know if it's genetic, I'm not sure what it is, they just cannot keep up with these American washed athletes. Like Bonzi Wells goes over there. Bonzi Wells couldn't score 10 points a league in the 10 points a game in the league. Goes over there and is dropping 60 points a game.
Bonzi, who does well there is the athletes who don't really understand the game. Here, Bonzi, good athlete, low basketball IQ. Steph, good athlete, low basketball IQ.
No,
They
Steph
go-
had good IQ.
Steph had good basketball.
I think he just started to lose his athleticism.
Steph's one of those guys that like
I never thought he was-
I think he lost a little bit of his athleticism, and he just kind of well, that's only because I saw the documentary. He just lost the love of the game for a
Right.
while.
Yeah, he got
so
help, yeah.
But
he's one of those guys where
competing
like
at 41. Like,
Yeah.
41, you're busting these guys' ass?
yeah.
I mean,
T-Mac went over there, right?
I don't think so. Not that I know of.
No.
Not-
I think he did.
They just loved him because he played for the Rockets.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he had
With
those
you,
like
okay.
those rocket like those Chinese jerseys that they made for the Rockets, like
Yeah.
those like huge sellers or whatever. But
Anyway, it's an interesting thing when, the international market starts to scoop up legit NBA players.
Yeah.
oh, that's happening, and especially now where social media and internet's so prevalent.
Yeah.
that like there's gonna be some people. There's gonna be a lot of guys probably this year. Like once the free agent market clears up,
Right.
and there's nowhere for them to go, they're like, "Fuck, I'll go make a quick $30 million for one season in China."
So how long is it until we have a Champions League version of basketball?
I think 10 years at least. I think that'd be a while.
Really?
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
So Champions League in soccer is the best teams of each separate division in Europe, right? So like the best teams in Spain A couple of them
The
will
top
compete
four
against.
teams in Spain from the previous season, top four in England, top four in France, top four in Holland. Compete.
They'll all compete in their own league, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could see in maybe not the near future, but let's say 10 years, the best, let's say 2 teams in the NBA, 2 teams in Spain, 2 teams in who else has a decent basketball? Well, China,
Israel's got pretty good
Israel,
basketball.
Like the
right?
UEFA Cup,
Argentina,
right?
that's right. Maybe even Brazil. Like, what if we had a fucking tournament? It didn't even have to be.
Like a FIBA Cup.
Yeah,
I'm about to say
just
it's
like-
kind of like the FIBA World Cup, but I guess you're talking
with
about with like
team.
club teams.
Yeah, with club teams.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
a great
shit.
way to grow the game.
It'll take a minute.
Right.
It'll take a minute. It'll
The-
take like I think 12 years, 10, 12 years.
There need to be more of an exodus
Even Canada.
from the NBA, and not only that, but like, okay, if you compare it to the Olympics, like why was the U.S. basketball team so dominant for so long? Well, it's because American players were the best,
Right.
but only when we saw players like Pau Gasol and really flocking home and taking it seriously to play for their national team, could those other teams actually hold a candle
It's
to America?
The Dream Team made that happen.
Yeah.
Like they've never even seen players like that up
Right.
until 1992, and then like years later, you ask all these international guys, when's the first time you saw basketball? Oh, Dream Team, Dream Team. You know what I mean? Like so that's kind of what happened this week with baseball. Like they sent the Yankees and the Red Sox over to fucking London to play
Yeah.
games over there for the first
Staged
time.
that game.
Staged that shit. They got the Yankees fucking smacked 14 home runs and shit.
That was
Like
insane. Did you see that?
I didn't
give it
see it.
like 12, 14
they played
years.
in London, and the game, I think the final score was like 17-13.
Beat the shit out the Red Sox.
Wow.
Beat the shit
But it
out
was
of
a
them.
good, like both teams put up crazy numbers. It was
Yeah.
the perfect display of baseball.
All the fans
for
got
a foreign
baseballs.
market.
They got fucking home
Yeah.
runs to
It was
take
a
home
long
and foul
drive
balls
competition,
and
yeah.
ground rule doubles and all that type of shit. In like 10, 20 years, you're going to see like a huge top prospect coming from over there. And be like, the first time I saw baseball was like going to see Yankees and Red Sox.
Yeah, you need to
Around
get it out there.
Yeah,
Just get
that's
it in
how it always
front of
happens.
them. Yeah.
I mean, that's what baseball's trying to do, man. They're falling behind with the NBA and the NFL and everybody else being an
Yeah.
international game. Like,
I mean, they got to figure out something because
America's
yeah.
pastime doesn't mean much right now.
Yeah, you're literally a pastime.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? I mean, there's been so much free agency shit, so
Dude,
maybe
it's
we
the
could just do a
craziest
rundown.
day ever in free
It was
agency.
Ever.
I
unbelievable.
think the decision
Ever.
was crazier because we'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
The super team.
Yeah.
But this was just unreal
So
activity.
let's go to the other thing I think shocked all of us, which was D'Angelo Russell going
D'Angelo
to
Russell is a fucking
the
warrior.
Warriors.
I heard he's getting traded.
Then the next
Again.
day, it got reported they don't want D'Angelo Russell. They, just didn't want to
value-
lose KD for nothing. So
they
they were
wanna
like,
use
let
him
us
as
get
a
somebody
chip.
we can trade for something else.
Wow. Okay.
Savvy move. Savvy move.
So this guy is good. Meyer, is that his name? Bob Myers?
Bob Myers,
This
yeah.
guy is fucking sharp, man.
Yeah.
This is the difference between the Knicks and an actually classy, intelligent organization.
I don't even think
Because-
it's that. I think it's when you have a player of value and you treat them well,
Right.
and you have a good
We wouldn't know
relationship
anything
with
about
them.
that.
Yeah, we don't have a player that good that could be like,
Well,
okay,
you could have
We had
get you
Porzingis.
somebody.
We could have figured out something to do with that, but we didn't.
And you could have had a player value. You just
traded him. to
no, you
Dallas.
just didn't offer him the max.
We just didn't offer the max. That's what
KD
we
could have
could
been.
very easily had KD, and then we could have traded him. That's the other thing. We could have gotten KD for the max and then traded him halfway through the season. What I thought was going to happen with KD was, I thought that the Warriors were going to sign him, and I wasn't the most wrong. I thought
What,
the
the sign and
Warriors.
trade?
I thought the Warriors were going to sign him. I thought give him the supermax, and then he was going to stay halfway through the season, and the Warriors were going to tell the Knicks which guys they wanted them to draft in 1-year deals, and then halfway through the season they were going to do the swap.
I heard about that. I heard something about like a delayed sign and trade or some shit like
Now,
that.
the problem with this is executing these things. Teams talk about this all the time with each other.
they got to
you
trust
can't
you.
trust the other team.
They got to trust you.
Well, what has to happen is you need to get Dolan, and who owns the Warriors?
Lacob?
No, Lacob.
Lacob.
Yeah.
Joe Lacob.
So
He's
you need to
retiring
get.
KD's number, by the way.
We'll get to that in a
Yeah,
second.
yeah, I wanted to
you
get to that.
fucking scumbag.
Yeah,
You fucking scumbag.
exactly. That's
Yeah,
what I want to
who
get
else
to.
wants
to
A
wear
jersey in the
35? I can't
Raptors
wait.
for your fucking
No,
Achilles.
that's
I can't wait.
exactly,
Shit. That's
exactly.
the cost
I
of a
can't wait
jersey in
until
the
Kevin
Raptors.
Durant-
Exactly.
I can't wait until Kevin
Scumbags.
Durant finally has his fucking tell-all and finally says how he really feels about that shit.
I got
Oh my
good
God.
insider information.
Same.
I got good insider information, and they did exactly what I told y'all motherfuckers they did. Forced his ass to go on out there, lied to him about the injury, put tons of fucking pressure. But I digress. What were we just talking about? Oh, the sign and trade, right?
Yeah.
Delayed sign and trade with the Knicks
So
and the
you basically
Warriors.
need Dolan and Lacob to get on the phone and go, we're both doing this, right?
Yeah.
Like you and I, this is a handshake agreement, but this is real. And the problem is it's very rare that you can get two owners to have that conversation.
It's worse.
Or to
It's
hold
worse,
their
bro.
word.
Or to hold their word.
I was with fucking Ian Begley just before shooting this shit, and he was basically like, "The Knicks never even got a meeting, bro. It was between the Knicks and it was between."
Son, I thought
Kyrie-
I wanted
Kyrie and
KD to go to the Knicks. I can't believe I wanted you guys to be happy. I wanted KD to go to the Knicks. I was like, the best case scenario: Kyrie goes to Brooklyn, KD goes to the Knicks. Exactly what I said. Tank for another year, get another great draft pick. Barrett will be better by the time KD's healed up. You got another draft pick ready in the wings. You got Mavs picks. You're set the fuck up. Kaz has sources. Everybody says KD's going to the
Yeah.
Knicks.
Yeah.
I thought it was locked up. I was excited for y'all. I'm like, yo, it's happening. Put money on this if you want. And then they didn't
I would
offer
have put
him the
money
Mavs.
on it from people that I talked to.
I
that
did
have
put
told
money
me-
on it that he wouldn't go.
Really?
I won $100, and I won $100 from a guy who
I remember
represents
this.
players in the league.
Yeah.
who really
Wow.
thought that he was going to the Knicks. I knew he would fuck
literally.
it up.
It was
I knew he'd
the
fuck
one
it up.
thing that everybody had written in the stars. Like, oh yeah, he's definitely going to the Knicks. But it's Dolan, and it is the fucking the most damning evidence that motherfucker needs to sell.
Fish rots from the head down. You don't get rid of Dolan. You don't change the
Don't
franchise.
change.
Simple as
It's
that.
gonna be. It's gonna be. The pitch worked. That's the sad thing about it. The New York pitch worked. They just didn't want to play for that New York team.
Yeah, and honestly, I blame DeAndre, and I don't blame DeAndre because DeAndre
No,
is just
he
saying
went in there
what
and was
happens.
like,
this is what happens.
this ain't it.
Yeah, this is what he said. Yo, New York is the greatest city, so if you could play here, do it. But if you could not play for the Knicks, do that
Do
too.
that too.
Oh, wow, there's a Nets team? Oh, yeah, let's go over there together. Motherfucker took less money. It's just...
You know who set this in motion a decade ago is Jay-Z. New York
Yeah.
is there for the taking. This motherfucker saw it 15 years ago,
Now,
whatever
did
it
he
was.
get bought out? What's
I think he sold
yeah,
it
he
when
sold,
he,
he sold the shares.
when he formed Rock Nation. He couldn't
he
have.
couldn't do
Can't
both.
legally.
Conflict of interest.
Yes.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Because
Can you
technically he's a
guys?
sports agent.
I have missed a lot of the free agency stuff because
Were you busy doing something else?
I have been busy with my own things.
Yeah.
Where's Kawhi going?
Kawhi,
Still
we still
haven't
don't
decided.
know.
Leaning heavily toward the Lakers is
don't
what
know.
we're
Kawhi
hearing.
staying.
Thing?
I don't know for a fact, but this is my assumption. I think that Kawhi's uncle, who's been doing most of the
Uncle Dennis.
behind the scenes stuff, Uncle Dennis is actually a shrewd. I think he's a shrewd business person. He's just sloppy because he's new to it. So I think what these meetings are that are happening now are him living up to his word. I think Dennis spoke to the Lakers. He spoke to these different teams. He spoke to the Clippers, and he said, hey, I'm going to give you guys a meeting with Kawhi. And I told you that before we won the championship, and I'm going to live up to that. But what happens is he goes into the meeting, they pitch Kawhi, and then he finds a way to politely say, listen, you guys did a great
This is
pitch.
great,
that,
but-
we like where we are right
Yeah.
now.
He's
But-
never gotten that experience. I think
Who?
Kawhi. I don't think Kawhi's ever been recruited in his life.
Right. He wants to
And
feel
some
it.
people
Everyone
wanna
wants to feel
everybody
love.
wants to feel like
Hell
that.
yeah.
Everybody, because even if things don't work out in Toronto, you want to be like, man, remember that fucking pitch with the Lakers a couple years ago?
Boom.
Wouldn't mind that. Like you still got to pitch these. People always think like because if you lose a pitch, you lose a free agent that one summer, that you lose them forever. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to be able to give them that reassurance. Like, yo, things don't work out in 2 or 3 years. We got assets. We'll make something happen.
Feel it
we'll
out.
bring you here.
It's great.
You know what I mean?
It's
so
fun.
I get it. I get
I remember
what
when I
Toronto's
left
doing.
an agency, it was fun hearing the agent's pitch or the manager's pitch. It's fun walking into the room, letting them sell you on
Feeling
shit.
hot.
PowerPoints
Yeah.
and shit.
Yeah.
I've had to pitch motherfuckers.
I was recruited for lacrosse
Really?
by all the schools.
And did they offer some pussy up like in He Got Game?
No,
No.
lacrosse players just be taking that
No.
shit, son. Ain't no offers on the table.
They offered us
What,
canoe-
lacrosse pussy?
Canoe
talking
paddles
about?
with our names engraved on them. The one thing that I remember Dartmouth did was they had a picture of like a Dartmouth player celebrating.
You just get whiter and
then on the
whiter.
back they had like
crazy.
superimposed my name, Ellis number, and then they put my like high school number, which was 16.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "We want you," and I was like, "Dartmouth is cool." I was sold by that. I thought that was
So
cool.
then why'd you choose Harvard?
It was a way better school.
There you go.
I mean, I had
Way
like
better, incrementally better.
Harvard versus
It's way
Dartmouth.
better.
Dartmouth's admissions, like their
Son, I
acceptance
got an
rate's
interview
20,
at Dartmouth.
22%.
Fucking losers.
You
Yeah.
did?
Yeah.
For what?
I don't know, bro. I just sent an application on a whim.
Wait a minute. I thought
whim?
Dartmouth is
Ivy
an
League
Ivy.
school. It is. It's not one of the more elite ones.
How many are there?
Yale and
Eight.
Harvard are like
There's 8.
the
So,
Ivies is
It's
just
Princeton, Harvard, Princeton,
Yale,
and Yale,
Cornell.
Columbia.
Penn,
Princeton,
Brown,
Yale, Columbia,
Penn,
Brown,
U
Penn.
Dartmouth, and then Cornell.
Cornell's the worst?
Cornell's a piece of
Yeah.
shit, dude.
Really?
It's a piece of shit.
Now, are there
No,
better
my cousin went
schools
to
that are
Cornell. Go
not
fuck
Ivies?
Oh, 1,000%.
For
I would
example.
well, Stanford is like right up there with Harvard, Princeton, and Yale.
Okay.
But then all the NESCAC schools.
The what?
NESCACs, like New England Small Colleges Athletic
Oh, like
Conference.
Amherst and shit?
Amherst, Williams, Bowdoin, Colby, you know,
These are good
Wesleyan.
schools?
Those are better schools than Cornell. And then beyond that, if you get into University of Chicago, that's a way better school. Probably some of the state schools.
U of M is supposed to be real good. Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan, absolutely. People
So
respect you
the
more.
Ivies is
when
just
they're-
like the ACC, the Big 12, the Ivy League. It's just sports shit.
it's a conference.
But they're all
yeah.
old school, so they have a lot of prestige. And some of them are fucking. Princeton is incredible. Harvard is incredible. Yale's incredible. And then the rest are they're good. Like Brown is good. And
Brown's really good. Brown is a very good school. Brown, Penn with Wharton, some of the like depending on their graduate schools, those are like
Cornell's the
tremendous
bastard
schools.
child though. That's just like
What school do you wanna
better-
go to?
I went to a little tiny ass college nobody's heard of called Austin College. It's not even in Austin.
I've heard of Austin College.
Nah, it's
not that one?
It's like an hour north of Dallas.
probably
You went
thinking
there
like
if you were
Austin,
pre-med,
yeah.
basically.
Dude, Berkeley's a
gotcha.
better school than
Berkeley's a great school.
Cornell,
You just got
and,
real,
and
arm-
probably Dartmouth.
Just
I
a
would
lot
say.
of hair on the women.
USC.
USC is
I
good.
think USC is a better
Southern
school. I
Cal?
would rather go to USC academically
Okay.
for prestige than Cornell.
What about which one is better, Princeton or Harvard?
It depends on what you're evaluating them on.
Which one accepts more Chinese?
Gotta be Harvard.
They got Jeremy Lin.
Yeah, but Harvard's now under a lot of
Pressure.
They're in big trouble right now. They're being
Too many
sued
Chinese.
by
That's a problem.
Not enough.
They're not enough.
Not enough.
Yeah.
Chinese.
They're Asian American. Yeah, because here's what happened, and this is a fascinating topic, and
Here
I'm
we go.
excited to get your opinions on this.
Yeah.
So here's
Let 'em in.
Here's what's happening at Harvard.
Okay.
The Asian American students, and I think in representing Chinese students abroad as well, but I could be wrong about that, are suing Harvard and specifically the admissions committee because Harvard put a quota on the number of Asian and Asian American students that they would admit. Because they said, we need to do this in the interest of diversity. We could fill our entire incoming class with Asian American students with perfect board scores, perfect grades, the most brilliant kids you've ever met. But that would be boring. We want a
Diversity.
tapestry of race and background and ethnicity and all of this. And it's interesting because not only did the white students, of course, come to the defense of Harvard's admissions committee, but so did the black students, so did the Indian students, so did, all the other races other than Asian. So, on one hand,
When you say quota, you mean like a cap. Like you can't go more than this.
yes.
Right.
And the Asian students are saying, well, the admissions committee should be blind to race. It's racist of them to target us and limit us because we're too
smart.
good.
Yeah.
And then everyone else is saying, well, we need to protect racial diversity and limit you because of us.
So this goes back to my point, which is nobody cares about diversity. They just care about opportunity and access to resources. Because the second you got to give up a little bit of something for diversity, it's like, whoa, that's racist.
Yeah.
So the idea is always, hey, white people, you guys got to be diverse. And then when non-whites have to be diverse, it's, wait a minute, we earn this shit through hard work. And the Asians are put in this position because obviously they're better at school than anybody else. It's without a doubt. They're the best at school. We'll throw you guys in there as well.
Yo, son, I was getting tight over
You're
here.
Asian.
I was getting
You're
tight over
Asian,
here.
son. You're Asian adjacent. You're Asian adjacent.
Yeah, you're
There's
light
something
skinned.
about
They're
that
Indian
context.
adjacent.
You're light-skinned Asian.
Motherfucker.
They're
Asian
India
proper.
adjacent. Whatever. Who got a nuclear weapon?
Us too.
I bet. So y'all
out here
get to be your own countries.
motherfuckers, son.
Gotta keep them in check. So, but the reality of the matter is now, and we look at this in Hollywood all the time. Like everybody's
Oh,
like, we
God.
need diversity. We need diversity, and then people are like, well, wait, should Tyler Perry movies be more diverse? They're like, whoa, what do you mean? That's absurd. We created this only thing, etc. So again, it's access to resources, and I don't blame anybody for wanting access to resources. Everybody wants to keep theirs. Republicans want to keep their money. Democrats want to get somebody else's money. Why not? It's just fight for resources. It's really not that crazy. I think that Harvard's not being that honest, though. Because I spoke to a guy who went to Harvard. He's a teacher at Harvard. and he also has a book out called he wrote a few books. I'm going to get it. And he met his wife, who I think was also a teacher at Harvard, who's Asian. He was a white guy, but his wife's Asian, and he had something to say. And I can't say his name, but
Do you know what he taught?
I'll tell you afterwards. But
Okay.
I have to
Like
because he
Asian
told me to tell me
literature or
this
some
off the
shit.
record.
Oh, okay.
And this is what was, and he has an Asian wife. Keep this in mind. But he goes, I think they're restricting Asian enrollment because, how do I phrase this in the way he said it?
He said it was off the record.
Yeah, this is off the record, but I'm not going to say his name. But he goes,
Just that he has a book in it.
We've drawn a few roadmaps to this guy.
Yeah, like, I mean,
So
it's
he
probably
goes-
best you don't remember the name of the book.
yeah, I'm not going to say that. So he basically said, how do I say it? Harvard is in the interest of accepting people that could potentially go on to do like groundbreaking things, right? To do groundbreaking things, change the world, be these thought leaders and world leaders, essentially. And he goes, the issue with Asians and Asian Americans is often that they achieve elite status in school and then go on to be lawyers, doctors,
Do regular shit.
be great at be very good at these good jobs, but they don't exceed past that. They're not going to be the head of a tech company. They're not going to be
The president.
the
There's not a lot of
president.
Andrew Yangs out there.
Right, exactly. Right? So it's like
Damn.
and
Isn't that more racist though?
well, here's the thing, right? So the way that the way an elite institution like that is going to look at things, they're
Yeah.
going to look at data,
Yeah.
right? And they're going to go, okay, who is changing tech right now? Who is changing what is called Silicon Valley? Who is changing what's outside of tech? I mean, who are the thought leaders of our generation?
Medicine.
What all these different things. Who are the people that are actually influencing the world and doing that? And he broke it down to almost a cultural thing, which is there is something communal within the Asian culture that makes you go, I shouldn't go out here and be better than everybody else. I should obviously succeed and I should do well, but putting myself ahead of my community and my people would be a disrespect to that community. Whereas the Western philosophy is often,
Get
I
it how
gotta
you
get
live.
mine.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah,
capitalism versus.
So to bring it home,
communism.
so it seems
Yeah.
less whatever. You can Scottish culture. You've told me is kind of similar. Whereas like,
Oh, for
your
sure.
mom had to like they looked down on her a bit for trying to achieve.
How dare you think you're
Yes.
better than your people? How dare you think you're better than being
Right.
a working class, factory person, et
And
cetera.
it might not be as pronounced in these other cultures, but that is a thing that sometimes exists in cultures.
Yeah, 100%. But
okay.
I thought it was a fascinatingly honest and pragmatic approach to admissions, which was, we want the people that are going to be billionaires so they could keep donating to this institution, so we could keep on having that rep. And if we just have a bunch of guys who end up being good dentists,
100,000 heirs.
100,000-aires, it's not gonna make Harvard.
Make Harvard Harvard.
Well, and then that becomes we want the people who will donate the most money back to the school to preserve our
Self-preservation.
$40 billion endowment.
Back to what I said earlier, which was access to
Opportunity
resources.
and access to
sure.
resources.
I'm just curious to your take on it. Do you think that there could be that,
Look,
or is that conspiratorial?
I would have to see. I mean, if that's coming from that guy, if he's seen the numbers, then maybe. It's so hard to know. It's like I can't imagine a world where there aren't Asian people running massive businesses. I thought that never occurred to me that like Asian Americans weren't running Silicon Valley corporations or making massive
I'm
advancements.
sure we
in-
could all go on Google right now and find plenty.
Yeah.
But the percentage of, or like how successful and amazing Asians are in school and their acceptance rates to these different things for how small their population are, and the ones I guess that end up coming out of them to
It
be
doesn't
the
translate as
Zuckerbergs.
directly.
Yeah. And the fact that we're sitting here right now probably kind of struggling to figure out, like, we could name a couple Indian CEOs for Google that have been,
I think their current CEO is Indian.
right?
I mean, my thing is this though. Like, there's not a whole lot of like dumb Asians out there.
But that's not
They
the
don't
point.
exist in dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
They do not. They are by far the best in school.
the starting point is so much higher for them. So it's like, I always, clearly I don't know a ton of Asians, but like I watch a lot of movies and I see like, whatever, you know what I mean? So a lot of those movies, they're like, oh,
you know, a lot of times the Asian doesn't do like the traditional doctor lawyer thing. I'm a comic. I'm a this. I'm a that.
Right.
And they almost get looked down upon for doing that.
Same pressure you have as Nigerian. I
Yeah,
bet.
yeah. It's the same shit. But it's like for them, it's like, well, if the starting line's so much higher, wouldn't that push other people to kind of like get on their level, or does it not work like that?
What do you mean by push other people? To get,
So if
do they
if
set
there's
the
so
bar
many,
high?
that's what I'm saying. Like if the bar is set so high that they push, you know, if regular fucking achievement is just like everyone makes $500,000 a year, like minimum, because they go to Harvard and this and that. Wouldn't that just push everybody else to strive for a higher?
100%.
If like, you know, if they just like, fuck it, we're just gonna take the best people, whatever, right? And it's just mad fucking Asians, but they're just so fucking good, everybody else has to step their game up just to catch up.
I think
doesn't that work better than just
You're making the conservative argument against affirmative action.
Okay.
Which is, and I'm not saying that's wrong, but
No, I'm listening.
which is the idea that like, hey, here's the problem with the argument, right? Is that like that argument hinges on level playing ground, and the reason why affirmative action exists is because oftentimes the playing grounds are level. Sometimes you don't even have a playing ground.
Yeah, I was about to say like that was my rebuttal.
So
for black people,
of course.
in
So
America.
when we look at Asians, right, we look at them as a minority and oftentimes give them the same situation that blacks have, right? So a lot of times minorities benefit from the black experience because people go, well, black people are a minority and they have disadvantages. Indians aren't white, so they must have disadvantages like black people. Asians aren't white, they must have disadvantages like black people, right? But in reality, Asians and Indians are coming from two-parent households, often.
Yeah.
In America, we got
like
it
the
great.
disenfranchisement is very different.
It's
from
two-parent
Indians
households,
and black
educated parents,
Yeah,
often
yeah.
doing incredibly, like two Indian doctor parents having kids that they're intimately involved in have a way better chance at succeeding, at least on the collegiate level, than anybody from a single parent, regardless of race. And maybe Harvard is like this really small example of how we have to look at privilege outside of just your skin color,
Right.
but rather the situation that you're born into.
Yeah, I always thought affirmative action makes the most sense socioeconomically based.
Yeah.
Not that poor black people have it worse than poor white people, blah blah blah. But like, I think a poor white person had a tougher life than Jaden Smith.
Oh, 100.
You know what I mean?
100%. And some people won't acknowledge that. Like DJ Envy wouldn't acknowledge that to me. When I was I was like, I think Jaden Smith's got it better. That was my example. And he was like, no, not really. I was like, wait.
But how many Jaden Smiths are there though?
Sure. But I guess the issue is like,
That's why I think I'm not saying there's more. It's not about the number of rich black people. I'm saying if you look at it socioeconomically as opposed to by race, then you're still getting the black people who are in unfortunate circumstances. You're just also you're not leveling, like screwing out. I would get it over a white person who's poor in a trailer park. I shouldn't.
or think
My
about it
parents
as the,
made decent money for a long time.
what if you're looking at it as the institution, you're Harvard, right? And you got the opportunity. Let's say Kaz, right? You got a 1600 on your SAT, but you had both parents in the household, educated parents, well off. You had access to tutoring, all this shit, right? And then let's say you had this kid Francis, right, who was actually an orphan, grew up in foster care, started living on his own at 16, manages to get the same 1600. Give me Francis. How the fuck did he overcome all that shit to get a 16? Imagine I give you some resource and opportunity. You're going to blow this shit out of the water. Yes, you happen to be this white kid, right? And you happen to be a black kid, but your circumstances might have provided you with way more privilege. And then you could flip it. I want the black kid that has one parent that got the 1600, not the white kid
But
that
the
had
thing is
SAT tutoring
the thing
all
is with
fucking
that
day.
though. The thing is with that though, especially in America, most times the white kid who has, who's come up from whatever situations that was not as ideal and still managed to get to 1600 isn't that. It doesn't occur that often. You know what I mean? Like, especially in a system that America is like, where damn near every black person at one point started off behind the fucking starting line. Not even on the starting line, like on the fucking bench. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas a lot of white folks, when you're white in America, you at least get to start at the finish at the
That's a
starting line. At one
pessimistic
point.
view on Black America in 2019.
No. I mean, I'm saying in some
He's saying
cases.
historically, like redlining.
Right,
Historically,
right,
yeah.
but we're in 2019 right now, right? So
I
it's
understand
like
that, but
you have a
there's-
lot of black families that grow up and they make six
Of course,
figures. So
of
it's
course,
like,
absolutely. But I'm saying like just in the way America was shaped,
sure.
in the system, the systematic oppression
But,
of
but,
it.
but we exist where we are now.
Of course.
So
of
what I'm
course.
saying
No,
is
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Right,
what
right.
I'm saying is systematically, white folks, a lot of white people, didn't have the same disadvantages.
Nobody's denying
as-
that. And that's
yeah,
why it was
yeah.
really important affirmative action. And that's why these things exist in the first place. I think that's why we have so much support. What we're now saying is we've come into a situation where you have black kids that are raised in these families that have a lot of stability, a lot of money. They own houses. It's not like redlining is stopping them from owning a house. They're passing down wealth from generation to generation. Right?
Yeah, but like the generation, maybe like one generation. Like,
Sure, there's a lot of white
promote-
people. This is their first generation in America,
But here's
right?
what we're saying,
It's not,
Kaz,
not
if-
like all white people have
if-
been here forever.
No, I'm
right?
not saying that.
If
Well,
what
I'm
I'm saying,
first generation
if what I'm
American.
saying is the case, which is based socioeconomically, we're not. The idea is not to leave out poor black kids.
Yeah, I'm not
the idea
saying
is to
that.
look at the income as opposed to, and that way, like I think you seem to have a pretty decent life. So I would think you would need less affirmative action than I was a big brother, big sister. I was a big brother to a white kid in a trailer park in Texas. Like this kid was fucking hopeless. You go to that trailer park, just his mom, chain smoking cigarettes. I don't know what happened to this kid. But
You know, yeah.
he could use some help.
I think to your examples of the well-educated black kid versus the poor white kid orphan, those two people are not vying for the same spot. It's not him versus me. It's the poor white kid who made it out of trouble versus the wealthy white kid who has the strong board scores. And Harvard does take that into account.
Interesting.
And they will always absolutely admit the perfect board score black kid. But they're not leaving him out in favor of the
Right.
kid from worse socioeconomic background. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, that makes sense.
They take all that into account, and that's something that came out and drove people fucking insane when we read about all of the college admissions scandal stuff with the recruiting, where
Yeah.
parents were paying off coaches, and then by extension, the Barron Trumps of the world were having gymnasiums named after them, and therefore, based on the $2 million gift, their applications were going to the top of the pile.
You're a legacy student.
Yeah, that bothered people in a big way because there was preferential treatment based on, financial means
Who your
to
dad
white
is,
kids.
and yeah.
And we shouldn't
Yeah.
have that.
No.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm against it.
I
I,
agree.
think.
Legacy
I guess
is idiotic.
what is the what is it? This is what it is. It's you're judging vertical leap. You're not judging how high a thing you can touch, right? So if you want to judge vertical leap, you have to judge how far from the ground your feet end up at the top of your jump, right? Not what part of the wall you can touch with your hand, because
So if you're 7 foot
if you're 7'7",
it's easier to grab. Something
easier
that's
to
10
touch
feet,
something
But if
high.
I'm 6'6", it's more impressive that I'm fucking.
That's a really
Right.
makes sense.
So and the
well
metaphor
said.
works
Glad
like
we
this.
got there because I was very confused.
So the white kid who grows up with money and
7'7".
legacy in America is 7'7", right? So he's touching that 10-foot rim
Easily.
but his vertical leap does not have to be as much
Right.
to touch it, right? The black kid or the Indian kid or somebody who's went through a lot might be 6'6", so he has to jump higher to get there. And if I'm a organization, I'm judging vertical leap. I might want that 5'8" white kid who found a way to touch that 10-foot fucking rim, somehow being 5'8". So if we start just looking at circumstance rather than just skin color,
Yeah,
And
I
judge
think
the leap.
the thing is with that what gets what factors into that a lot is that America a lot of times have given to indigenous people,
right?
have given them their sort of, I guess for lack of a better term, their reparations as far as like land and money and all this other shit,
Casinos.
casinos, all that other shit. Many people that have literally bled for this country and be like, and the government collectively saying, hey, it's kind of fucked up what we did.
Yeah.
Here's some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, almost every nationality of people in America that has had that happen to has had some sort of reparations for that.
Native
besides
Americans
black
fucked it
people.
up for black people, yo. Because if they actually if they did something with the reparations, then I think that the argument would be made for black people. What fly casinos? They put the casinos into the ground.
Yeah.
Then they had to hire some Jews to actually get them out of the ground. But like they literally gave them land. They said, "Here's a printing press of money," and they somehow managed to bankrupt these fucking casinos. So I think initially the reaction to reparations from that is, "Whoa." We got to be careful with just giving people printing presses because oftentimes you could lose money on a printing press. So if they had, let's say the Native American community, after getting the casinos, managed to fucking flourish and reverse all these horrible stereotypes
But
and
it's not
horrible
about
trends.
when
Let's
giving them
say,
that
let's say,
money-
for example, let's say they did. All of a sudden, that would be the proving ground for why reparations are so effective.
To me, I don't think it's about like us, a government giving Native Americans any type of money and be like, oh, so you fucked it up, we can't do it anymore. It's more about the government and Americans being like, hey, we cool now? Doesn't matter what you do with it, what you not do with
That's
it. Like,
stupid, Cass.
It's not stupid.
That's stupid,
It's not
Cass.
stupid, especially when this country was built on a lot of blood, sweat, and tears from black people, and they
Right.
haven't. There's been no type of our bad, not even a formal our bad.
Yeah, there is.
No, there hasn't. Not from America. No, there never has been. There's never. There has
you
never
talking
been.
about?
There has never been an official document saying like, "Yo, our bad for slavery," ever.
Dude, there
What
was
about like the 13th Amendment?
What do you mean?
Outlawing sales.
Yeah, you outlawed it, but like, okay, for example, and I watched the show on the shop with on HBO.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen was talking about, I was doing a comedy show on an Indian burial ground or whatever, and it was like
they be
before they
burying
even
their
showed-
people everywhere, bro. That
Yeah,
shit
but
annoys me.
I know.
It's like everything's a burial ground for these people, man. It's
so they said that, and he was like, before the show even starts, like every time they started, like the guy who owns the venue or somebody from the gets on the microphone, was like, hey, I just want everyone to acknowledge that this is the Indian burial ground, and and they just have a moment of silence, and then they continue on with the fucking show.
But here's the thing with that. I don't think they had like cemeteries. I think wherever the person died, they just put them in the ground.
Exactly.
That's why
but
everything's
but
an
we
Indian
know
burial
why
ground.
they died, though. They know why they died, and it's just the acknowledgement of it. Just the acknowledgement of it. Whether it be monetarily, whether it be fucking.
What would that do for you?
It doesn't matter what it did. What it
You don't
would
think
do
like,
for us.
fighting a war is acknowledging it?
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't
Like
matter.
the Civil
who-
War was like, yo, this is fucked up. We're willing to have 1 million Americans die so that this doesn't
So
happen
shit's
anymore.
been cool for blacks ever since the Civil War.
You asked for acknowledgement. You didn't ask for cool. I'm talking about what you're asking for.
Yeah.
Right? You have multiple presidents come out, Lincoln for the first part, come out saying the evils of slavery.
Yeah.
And why we're going to end it. That's acknowledgement.
Yeah.
For you to say that it hasn't been acknowledged at all, it's just historically
You know what it
inaccurate.
sounds like? You ever get in a fight with your girl and she knows she fucked up, but she won't just admit it? It's like, no, I need you to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but we...
Maybe
That's
it's
all it is.
emotional.
But-
Maybe it's pure emotion, but it's like,
but
I
we
just
have.
need you to say.
What I'm saying is we have, like, over and over and over again.
They want like an official. We've said it. They want like an official politician, president, white dude in particular, to say,
Abraham Lincoln
I'm sorry.
is the guy who did it.
Yeah, but I think things continue to be fucked up for like a century
Yeah.
after that.
Nobody's saying it wasn't,
It wasn't like
fucked
shit was-
up.
okay.
It was acknowledged that this was an awful thing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why it was worth, losing 1 million American lives to stop. Right. I mean, this
Yeah.
is the greatest, loss of American life in the history of
Yeah.
the nation.
Yep.
Right. So
as
clearly,
percentage of population.
I don't want
Population,
to.
yeah.
I want to talk basketball. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. I
neither.
do get though. Like if you cheated on your girl all the time, and you're like, "What? I stopped cheating." That's an apology, right?
Mm-hmm.
She would still need the apology. You can't be like, "What? I'm faithful now, bitch." Like I acknowledged it. Come
right.
on now.
I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying. So, are you familiar with Lincoln at all and his speeches and how he spoke about slavery publicly?
Nah, probably not as much.
And
as
if you
'Cause
were
your dad is the Lincoln guy,
Right.
and I
and
get
if you
that.
were, you would know that he, was vehemently against slavery, and he
Right,
said this
okay.
publicly
Okay.
upon his campaign trail
Right.
as campaigning to be president. I mean,
Right.
like, there's an entire group of the Republican Party, the radical Republicans, that built their whole platform on the abolishment of slavery. So
Right.
to sit here and go, this never existed, it's just not right. I mean, the
Again,
fact
though,
that
there is a gap between the slavery and the
Yeah.
then the what?
equality, like actual equality.
Yeah, again, what we
Well,
were
then that's
discussing.
the pace of recovery, which we have an issue with, right? And I think everybody agrees. Like,
100%.
it should be a lot better than it is. But
I don't
to
actually.
his point, the Continental Army, I mean, the Union Army was not just black soldiers fighting to abolish slavery. It was the entire North that said this is a horrific institution and we are going to go to war with our countrymen.
This is a horrific
Against it.
institution that now we can no longer profit from.
Yeah.
And there's some self-interest in that.
Yeah,
as
I
well.
mean,
Don't get me wrong.
there was definitely a lot of arguments to keep slavery for monetary reasons.
100%.
You
Well,
know,
the
so
North just couldn't. It just wasn't profitable, for the
profitable
North
anymore.
anymore.
Yeah,
So they were
Mm.
like, okay, now you guys shouldn't have it down south either. But the acknowledgement that it was fucked up was there. Again, speed of recovery is definitely something that we could speed up. It's something I think a conversation we have every single time. The joke I was making about reparations was just like, if we had done a better job with natives, if it had been more effective, I think you would have seen that money injected immediately into black communities. But the fact that it just truly wasn't. Like,
And really quick, I just read a book about the Comanche Indians, and the problem with what happened
Got a
with
lot
the
of
Native
free time, huh?
Americans was that, every single deal that was ever inked by the U.S. government with the Native American tribes, every allotment of land was fucking torn up, and then they would shrink it. They would just constantly take more. They would give them massive, massive reservations and say, you can live here and we're not going to touch it. And then they would take more of it. So the Native Americans, I mean, it wasn't fair.
Yeah.
Like they didn't get what they were promised.
Right.
And it was broken
every
thousands
single
of times.
time. Yeah. No, we've done a shitty job. Plain and simple. As a
Yeah.
country, we can do a better
we
job.
can do better. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's things that could be done to make the relations from all races, especially for this country, a little better. Let's
Now,
talk about some fucking
here's
basketball.
a question. Do you get reparations?
Do I get reparations?
Let's say if the reparation check
I wouldn't
comes in.
think so because I'm first generation.
Right,
I
that's a
I
tricky one.
Yeah, like I don't. But that's the thing. Like, of course, I want reparations for Black people, but I'm
Right.
like, I'll be okay if I don't get. I mean, shit, I'll take some, but I won't be. I'll be okay if I don't get it because I'm first generation. My mom came here, like she was the first of my family. My mom and dad were the first of my family to come here. So like my family, to my knowledge,
Right.
weren't slaves, weren't any of that. So
But at the same time, you might be treated differently because of the color of your skin. Like when somebody's racist towards you, they're not going, he's first generation.
No,
black.
of course
You're
not.
just black.
Of course not. I'm just black. But at the same time, it's like I know whose ancestors truly suffered
Right.
through this.
Right.
And my knowledge of my grandparents and great grandparents, like maybe the last 3 generations, that wasn't mine.
Yeah, but
they were all Nigerian. They were all in Nigeria. So,
Your
like, it's not-
answer will not be unanimous
No, I
across
know.
all people
I
because
know.
many people will say, well, the vestiges of slavery have prevented me from potential employment opportunities. Therefore,
Which is why I
am-
say I will take it because, like, I understand that because of what has happened in this country and what I've had to, and people like me have had to take in because of things that were happening beyond my control. Yes, of course, it's going to affect me. But did it affect me directly? Not my family, probably not. But I know people who like their actual grandparents were slaves. Like I'm talking about like not even a generation ago.
Right.
Like their grandparents were. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Which is
It's
fucking nuts,
dude.
Or they
and
called it something. I forgot what the fuck they called. They had some fancy fucking name for it that wasn't quite slavery.
indentured servitude.
That's sharecropping.
Sharecroppers. Yeah.
That's what the
for
fuck
sure.
they were. Yeah.
So I think that we could start by making a difference on this very podcast. I think from now on, you only have to be here for 80% of the episodes. Okay, so you can come
Damn
in
it.
30 minutes late to every episode, and we will treat it as if it's the exact same amount of
You
time.
can come for 3/5 of the episode. I shouldn't have.
You don't get a job to lose.
Come on, you
no, I got another
guys.
job. You know what it's like, right?
It'll be easier for me, but okay, good stuff.
All right, let's talk a couple more topics, and then we'll get out of here.
That's the craziest day is Mad Basketball Talk. D'Lo, we didn't talk about the Dubs trading Iggy.
Well, we talk about D'Lo.
A little bit, but like, how do they look? What do they
got
trade
traded
him
up
for?
because of that Breakfast Club.
Hell yeah, he did. Now, here's the
Now,
thing.
what
with
did he
it.
say exactly on Breakfast Club?
Well, that they didn't treat the
They said the medical staff could have been better.
medical staff could have been better, which is a massive bomb to drop on the biggest, hip hop
talk show.
platform on the planet, especially when you're entering free agency. I mean, this is crazy.
Iggy
And it-
wasn't no free agent.
No, but
no,
the
not
free agent's
entering
about
free
to
agency.
start.
Oh, just
yeah,
gotcha,
right.
gotcha.
So it's like do I want to come to that team that doesn't care if you get injured and they push you back out there and make you tear your Achilles? Like,
Send them
coming
off
off
like
the
it's
heels
Memphis.
of what happened to Kevin Durant, you cannot talk spicy like that. I think Iggy, here's the thing with Iggy. Iggy's a really smart guy. When you see him, like,
Yeah.
fucking sharp, but here's the problem. He's a pain in the fucking ass to have on your team. I think he's so good, you're like, I'll put up with it. But eventually, I think he bit off a little more than he could chew. I think you're still an employee at the end of the day, and if you come at the medical staff after someone's Achilles just got popped, really thinking you can't get traded, you're going to get a rude
Yeah.
awakening.
I think that's a big loss for the Warriors.
I'll be all right.
I think he was big in the locker room. I think he was like an important piece.
I think he
Yeah.
was, but I think he was also breaking down. I think he got one more year left, tops.
What's interesting is when he gets bought out, where does he go?
Lakers.
Or Nets.
Oh
Or
my
not.
God.
Apparently
imagine.
he's going.
Or Philly.
Bruh,
Go back
Philly, we
home
didn't
to
talk
Philly.
Horford.
Yeah.
I think Philly got better.
He was
Philly
an
definitely
all-star in
got
Philly,
better.
right?
Yeah, that's when he started his career, man. That's when he had some of his
Wow.
best scoring seasons.
Okay, so he has maybe maybe 1 or 2 seasons left, right? The
Yeah.
body's already breaking down. He
Right.
was injured throughout the playoffs,
Yeah.
but
handful of surprise teams that I think are going to look really good next year.
okay.
The Utah Jazz,
Jazz looking nice.
the New Orleans Pelicans continue to get fucking richer.
Who'd they get? Reddick and who else?
They got Redick and I don't know, but they got Redick.
You need Redick. You need a veteran.
Yeah.
He's also a dookie.
Yeah, and,
right?
he had his choice. He had his pick of the litter where he wanted to go. He could go anywhere.
Yeah, why do you think he chose New Orleans?
He got decent money, right?
New Orleans,
What they give it
got
to
some
him?
good money.
1 year, 20 or something?
I think I want. No, I don't know. I don't even remember.
Can you look up
But
the
he got some
contract?
solid money because from what I was told, like he was signed, sealed, and delivered to Brooklyn. Like signed, sealed, and
That
fucking
would have been
delivered.
lovely.
Like, that's where
too.
he was.
And he
going.
loves New York. He lives
He
in
lives
New
here.
York.
Lives
I
in
think he has
Dumbo.
a place in Brooklyn.
He lives in Dumbo.
So why the
Yeah.
fuck doesn't he go?
So Reddick got $26.5 million for 2 years.
Yeah, that's
That's
solid.
okay.
The
They
Nets
just
couldn't
weren't
afford that.
gonna get him.
They're maxing out Durant. They're maxing out Kyrie.
Yeah.
They got to sign DeAndre. He ain't taking nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
They already had to take less money to sign DeAndre
You
Jordan.
think KD
so-
looks good going to the Nets?
What do you mean?
Dude, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's a good look for him.
his injury completely changed the public perception of him.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
You want to know something? He's happy now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's happy that he got
No
injured.
more burner accounts. Yeah.
Real talk.
he
No,
finally
no.
got the love he was yearning for
He
in Golden State the
finally
whole
got
time.
Because he
the
still
love.
had a tweet like he still had an Instagram post like nobody can judge what you do except you or something like that.
Yeah,
He's
nah, I
happy
respect
now.
it.
Because he
I
still
respect
went
the
to
move.
team up with his friends. If you went to the Knicks, that is your team. And
It's still his team. Brooklyn is still his team.
It's not a super team. It's different. I think it's different, and there's nothing wrong with playing with another elite player. I mean, that is the nature of the game, right? And Kyrie might have to deal with the fact that he's a beta on this team, but maybe he feels like he isn't. That doesn't really matter.
He'll have a
his
nice
lesson?
year to prove that he's not.
Say again.
He'll have a nice year to prove that he's not.
Right,
Dude, Kyrie
So-
historically plays better when he is slightly less good than
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best guy.
Yeah.
That year he had with them when the Cavs won, I mean, he was spectacular.
Yeah.
I can't help but get fucking early 2000s Orlando Magic's vibes from this deal, though.
You did tweet that, and I thought it was.
Nobody caught it too. I'm
fitting
like, y'all
tweet.
remember this? I'm like, this is exactly what happened in Orlando. They got Grant Hill,
Yeah.
who was
Off
the
an
young up
injury.
and comer. No, Trace McGrady, who was the young up and comer, and Grant Hill, who was just off of an injury.
Yeah.
They thought he was going to be all right when he got back, and he never was. And that tandem never really worked out the way people expected it to work
Wow.
out. So, I mean, T-Mac was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Kyrie's going to be great for Brooklyn because I think Kyrie's happy.
Yeah.
I think he hated being in Boston. He
Yeah.
got traded there. He actually got to choose a place he wanted to go to.
Yeah.
He's right in his backyard. He donates a shit ton of money back to the the Patrick School and still is very active over there.
Right.
And, all his family's here. So I think he's going to be happy. And I think he's going to play well. And I think that Brooklyn team's makeup is conducive to a guy like Kyrie, where it's not so much fucking pressure of the historic. You got to be a historic Boston Celtic.
Yeah. No expectations.
Fucking like none of that
Yeah.
shit.
He was
Just the
better with
day-
no expectations.
The day they signed to Brooklyn, they are fucking heroes to that franchise for the rest of their life. If they would have signed to the Knicks, it'd be like, all right, but where the chips?
Don't
where
forget,
the rings?
it's still New York. You got to deliver.
He'll be all right.
You still got to deliver. If they don't win, then nobody's going to give a fuck. Honestly.
Nobody really gives a fuck now.
But the eyes
Knicks
are
got
on
all
him
the
now.
headlines.
The eyes are on him now, and we're boycotting the Knicks. So now there's no more Knicks fans. We're looking for something else to do, and you got to fucking deliver. And it's going to be a lot on
No,
KD.
the front page article on ESPN was Zach Lowe saying, "How did the Nets pull this off? And
Yeah.
where do they go from here?"
Okay.
so they're getting headlines.
Everybody's talking about the Nets, and
Of
it's just
course.
going to be more and more. I mean,
Of course.
it's people are going to monitor that Achilles injury. I mean, if KD thought that he was
That's
under
a
the
2-year
spotlight in
injury,
San
really.
Francisco. He's going to be under the spotlight in New York. We're talking about every time you walk out of a fucking rehab facility, there are going to be paparazzi there. We're going to
Yeah.
know exactly how that ankle feels.
That's a really a 2-year injury, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be back next year, but he won't.
He won't be quite the
Oh no,
the
he's not
same.
going to play next year. If the Nets are
No,
smart,
he's not playing
they
the
do not.
entire
No,
year,
I
but
mean
then
like he'll
the
miss
year
a
after
year.
that.
He'll play that next year, and then he'll still be trying to
2021,
get his,
2022 is one I think he'll be
Halfway
back to full
through?
form.
Yeah, I think so.
Halfway through the contract.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
really it's a tough deal to take, but you take it.
No, you gotta
'Cause it's
take
Kevin
it.
Durant.
You gotta take
right?
it.
Like, yeah, people don't come back as good, but like
Yeah.
a guy that good has never really blown his Achilles in his prime like that.
Yeah.
So
You gotta take
I'll
it.
take 70%
Right.
KD if that's as good as he gets back.
You got to take it.
How much does what does this team without KD look like next year? Like, are they a 5th seed?
Who cares?
Are they?
It's meaningless.
I don't know if they make the playoffs.
You don't think they make the playoffs?
I don't
Come
know.
on.
I don't know if they make the playoffs.
How they're a playoff
How
team.
much did they
They were a-
lose
were they
in
a 6th
trading for
seed?
these two guys?
Nobody. They lost D'Lo.
Dude, they were pretty good this year.
They lost D'Lo
but
and like
that's-
Jared
I think they lost D'Lo.
Do you
and they
think
got Kyrie.
D'Lo's better than Kyrie?
I think I'd rather have D'Lo on my team than Kyrie as an alpha.
Well, you know that.
Yeah, we know how I feel about Kyrie.
That's fair.
Kyrie.
Okay, I mean, then your theory is fine.
I
'Cause
really
you
think-
D'Lo's more effective, but I think Kyrie will be better than D'Lo. I think that
He is better than D'Lo.
I have no
Yeah.
doubt he's more talented.
No, I think will be better for the team
Okay.
than D'Lo. And
Okay.
I like D'Lo. I just think he will be better for the team. And I think that they'll curate the team around Kyrie's talents. And I think his biggest issue in Boston was that they didn't curate it around his talents.
It was around Brad
Ooh,
Stevens.
that was something I wanted to bring up with you guys. The fucking Boston media was at it. Did you guys see that this
boy,
week?
Those motherfuckers.
The great.
bro.
Okay, so
They waste no time.
the guy who owns, I forget if he owns the Celtics, also owns like the Boston Chronicle.
Grossbeck?
Is
Yeah,
that it?
Wick Grossbeck, yeah.
Owns the Boston Chronicle. He owns some like radio station.
Yeah.
So it's the same. It's like top down, right? They control the media. We always talk about on the sports on Flavor 2 about how Boston media is essentially a vacuum, and it puts out whatever theories, narratives, storylines that they want for their teams. And once you cross them, it is blatantly obvious that you cross them in the news. So once they can't get this meeting with Kyrie, Kyrie says, I'm not even going to meet with Boston. I'm not going to meet with the Celtics. I don't want to come back. Immediately, a story comes out about how Kyrie refused to sign a ball that was, wait for it. This is why it's brilliant. The wording is so brilliant. The ball was for charitable sponsors. Now, charitable sponsors sounds
Yeah.
like charity.
Charity.
Right.
Do you know what a charitable sponsor is?
Someone who gives the team money.
An insurance company that.
IKEA, Geico,
Yeah.
Pepsi, right? But putting charity in there, look at that, right? By
Yeah.
charitable purposes, balls for charitable, charitable. He's the douchebag that refuses to sign a ball for some sick kids with cancer in a hospital. That's what it looks like. When in reality, it's just some big corporate nonsense.
Do you know that for a fact? Dude, does it go in to say what
'Cause, yeah,
those charitable purposes
does
were?
sound.
So my understanding is those charitable balls get sold like 2 or 3 times before they even
Oh, okay.
right. It gets sold to like a autograph agency. It gets sold to something else before
And
it
then
ever.
those be like,
Or it ends up in the
you
office.
Then they say it's like Steiner Sports or whatever.
Yes.
And be like, oh, we got this autographed basketball and proceeds go to yada yada.
So he's like, okay, I'll sign. First of all, in the past, this guy tweeted me. He's like, I have a signed ball that was for charitable purposes from Kyrie. He did in the past. He's no longer on your team. He's like, I'm gonna go sign charitable balls in New Jersey.
Brooklyn.
Or,
Right.
sorry,
Right.
Brooklyn, the second I get there, I'm not gonna stop
Yeah.
Yeah.
signing charitable balls. You guys are fucking douchebags. I don't like you. I don't want anything to do with you.
Nah.
I'm gonna keep it moving. This is a story that you can keep locked. But once he leaves, all of a sudden it's all over the airwaves.
So how much of so we both think Kyrie's cancerous. Do you think he will continue to be on Brooklyn, or how much do you think he was actually cancerous, and how much is just Boston media?
I think he's cancerous, but I think that he won't be as long as you give him what he wants. And that is the offense has to be curated around him until Big Daddy comes back. And when Big Daddy's back, I think Kyrie will be like, okay, we could share this.
Next year will be interesting if what we think is true, KD comes back and he's not full strength. Big Daddy back, but he ain't Big Daddy. I'm still the better
That's what
player.
I'm saying.
And
I
you know
think
who
that's-
likes that?
Kyrie, he loves it. Of course.
Kyrie's fine with that.
Yeah.
Because I
That
get to be
year.
alpha. And
But the offense will be curated toward KD at that
no.
point, won't it?
I think they'll recognize that it's like a Gordon Hayward situation where they go,
They'll try
okay,
to
you
work
can't
him
handle
in.
the load.
Right.
We'll work KD into this, but Kyrie, you still handle it. And I think that's exactly the situation Kyrie wants. I think
Right.
All right, what else we got? Because we're coming up on time. We got
Lakers, Kemba, we haven't talked. Horford, we haven't really talked. Jimmy Buckets, we haven't really talked. There's some massive moves.
Yeah, the Jimmy move to Miami is interesting, but I don't think they
don't
make
care.
a fucking noise.
Why'd he go there?
He likes Miami. He's always liked Miami. He's always liked that city.
Well, I think he just wanted the max, and they were the only team willing to give him the max.
Yeah.
I think it's as simple as that.
I think a couple teams would have offered it.
I think Boston got worse
Oh,
with Kemba.
let's talk about Boston versus Philadelphia
Yeah.
because Philadelphia is interesting now.
Oh, Horford
for
is
sure.
an upgrade, man.
Josh Richardson is a sneaky good pickup for them. Like, he gives you the things that Jimmy Butler gives you without the headache, maybe a little less points.
Yeah.
But he still guards up, still a very tough guy to defend, very tough guy to get past.
Yeah.
He can knock down shots. He's a smaller 3-and-D guy. And Ben Simmons is going to be your point guard anyway, so that
Ben
kind of
Simmons
cancels each
sucks.
other out.
You got to get rid of Ben Simmons.
No, I don't think he sucks.
But I like the fact that you have your 4 and 5 can stretch the floor.
Oh, yeah.
And the
Al
problem with
Horford's
Philadelphia was shooting, right? Ben Simmons is such a god awful basketball player that you're really playing 5-on-4, especially in the playoffs. Like the guy
Wow.
has zero gravity around him. He cannot shoot a basketball
Beat the
to
Nets'
save
ass.
his fucking life, right?
Bust the Nets' ass, though, with no jump shot.
Did he though?
He did. I think it was game 4 or 5 where he
had
went
one good
off.
game?
Yeah, he had like 30 something. Like the day after the fucking Jared Dudley did the bullshit.
Yeah.
And then like Ben Simmons went off for like 30, like all layups and dunks. Just
Right.
Yeah,
Drama.
but he's the guy who goes 30 and then has 4 in
has five,
the next
right.
game.
Yeah.
Joel
Yeah.
Embiid is that guy too.
He sucks. No, Joel Embiid is
Embiid
legit.
just needs to get in shape. And I think Al Horford's the perfect guy to get him in shape.
Al Horford is the slowest person to ever play basketball. When he has the ball, you think he's like a retired guy.
Oh,
that they
when
brought back.
he takes forever to shoot.
Yeah.
But it's money more than half the
Yeah,
time.
I don't know. How old is he? I mean, he seems like he's.
He's 33,
gotta
I
be
think.
30.
They gave him
Oh.
a lot of years. That's what's shocking. I think they gave him too many years. I
4
think it's
years,
4
109, I think.
He is
right?
33.
Yeah, so he's 33, 4 years, and he's also Dominican. He could be lying like those pitchers in Little League.
That's
right?
fair.
So
yeah.
he could be 42
He
right
could
now.
be.
We have no clue.
Right.
Right?
Could be.
It's beneficial in Little League, but not the NBA.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Okay.
Yeah.
Which teams do you think lost free agency besides the Knicks?
Besides Knicks, I think Celtics. I think Celtics lost. I love Kemba, and I think he'll be fine over there. And I think that he.
Boston's going to love Kemba. I just don't think they got better.
No, I don't think they got better, but I also think he fits that IT mold way better than Kyrie does.
Yeah.
So remember how effective IT was in Brad Stevens' offense? I think that's what Kemba will do. And Kyrie is unique in his talents. He is not that explosive.
Kyrie is a shorter Kobe.
Yeah.
He's a shorter Kobe. That's all he is. He plays
Kemba is
exactly like Kobe
explosive.
Bryant.
He's
But-
explosive.
Yeah.
IT was explosive.
Yeah.
But Kyrie is like a lull you to sleep a little bit type
Because
of guy.
Kyrie's
Get you on your
thing-
hip.
Kyrie's thing is degree of difficulty for shots.
Yeah.
Right.
Just because you can make these crazy difficult shots doesn't
Yeah.
mean you should take them all the time.
Yeah.
Kemba takes good shots, puts up the same numbers, damn near identical stats as Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be great in Boston. I think Boston will love him. I just
Gordon
don't think they
Hayward
got
need to
better.
step it up, bro. If Gordon doesn't step it up this year for Boston, it's going to be a long season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and Jaylen Brown, because Jalen now is going to actually have to
It's his
play
fourth
his part.
year.
It's his fourth
Oh,
year.
it's a put up a
Tatum's
shut
third
up
year.
year.
We've been
for both of
talking
them.
about
For Tatum,
potential.
put up a shut up
Put
too.
up a shut up for both of them.
Tatum, I think Tatum has already shown some promise. Jalen has been the one which is like that we've been going.
I think he
he's
regressed
so
a little bit
skilled.
last
He's
year.
got
Yeah.
so much potential.
Yeah, I think Jalen.
I
I think everybody progressed with Kyrie.
Regress,
Yeah,
you mean. Yeah.
regress. Sorry.
I'm much more excited about Tatum than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
And I'm more excited about Tatum than Ben Simmons, which I think everyone thought that
gonna be
Ben
the opposite.
Simmons was going. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Ben Simmons horrible, man. I would
Quietly,
never
who else?
ever sign him to anything whatsoever.
Jeez.
I mean, awful.
Tell him
Can't
how
shoot
you
a
really
basketball.
felt.
How do you not be able to shoot a basketball when you're in the NBA? All you have to do is practice shooting the basketball.
Didn't you think it was something was wrong with the?
Oh yeah, he has something physically wrong with the way
he's
he
a
holds the ball.
lefty, and we all know what they're like.
Yeah, pieces of
They're
shit.
horrible.
Horrible.
Don't accept him
Horrible
to
people.
Harvard.
Yeah.
Fucking Dartmouth. Go to
Yo,
Dartmouth
quietly.
with
Yeah.
your or Cornell.
Lefty.
If
Fucking weirdo.
Your
this
right
team
brain
doesn't get-
bozos.
if this team doesn't get Kawhi, is the Clippers a big loser?
Yes.
In this free agency?
Apparently, they picked up pieces in the Jimmy Butler 4-team trade. They got
I haven't
another
read
draft
that
pick,
yet, yeah.
and they got a salary dump. Which I mean, that's fine. You got space for that. But
They
like
paid Pat Beverly a lot of money.
the Mavs lost. They got Pat Beverly 3 years,
Mavs
$40
got,
million.
Why did
Mavs
Mavs
pick up. Aren't they picking up Dragic? Goran Dragic?
No,
Why did
No?
Mavs lose?
Because they wanted either Brogdon, that was like ideal, or Tobias Harris. Or they had $30 million. They had a max slot.
Okay.
And they didn't get anybody. They got Seth Curry 4 for 32. They extended their guy.
Seth fits
Powell.
into that system well.
Seth fits pretty well. They
Yeah.
extended their guy Powell, but that's it. Like
And
Pat
Porzingis.
Beverly, that you would love a dog for Luka to not have to play so much good perimeter defense.
And-
Pat Beverly would have been good, 3 for 43,
And they didn't
make
offer it
that
to him?
move. And I don't think they made the move because 3
were
for
they?
43 is
They
affordable.
wanted Brogdon.
Brogdon went to
Bro-
Indiana.
A lot of
Right.
people were saying, I don't know what they wanted specifically, but a lot of people were saying Brogdon fits perfectly on this team. Again, great perimeter defender, good 3-point shooter. Luka's going to drive, kick it out to you, open threes, knock it down. This is the perfect guy for you. 4 for 85 he got, but the Mavs didn't have the assets to trade, I guess, for a sign and trade.
Right.
But like, you could, I mean, I don't know if they made the offer. They offered a less than max to Tobias Harris. He stayed in Philly.
I think you guys are okay though.
I think they'll be okay,
Mavericks will
you
but
got
be good.
Luca, you got
They got
Porzingis.
Luka, but
We still don't know
Porzingis
how
is-
they're going to
it
operate
depends
together.
on
but
Porzingis' health.
Porzingis
Let's see
is
how they do.
anything.
And Porzingis is what? He's had a whole year and change to recover for this.
Allegedly, he was good to go end of last year, and they were just like, "Nah,
Let's
we'll
just
just
tank.
wait.
Let's just get this pick." Yeah.
but
And just keep working on his core or whatever he needs to do. And that's the thing, that if Porzingis stays healthy, they're
I
fine.
mean, I saw a video of him. I mean, clearly it's off season. Everybody looks great.
Yeah.
Like I saw a video of him in the gym. Like he looks like he put on some pounds too. Like
You need to learn how
looks-
to duck because
looks
my man
gross.
stays getting snuffed. Did you see that video of him knocked out, wobbling around the streets in
Latvia or whatever the fuck?
Latvia?
Oh,
Charlotte
yeah, I
Hornets.
did.
Yeah. Work on a bob and weave,
Yeah, or
homie.
jump. I don't know that he needs to duck. I think he can jump over the punches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bend your head up.
Or-
You're 7'7".
Or just do
Yeah.
it the fucking grade school way. Just
There
use
you
your
go.
fucking leg,
Mush.
bro. Just
Learn how to
a guy.
mush, bro.
Charlotte Hornets took a L, I think.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Fucking
Hit a
Jordan.
lot
They got
of
a
money.
tank. They got a tank
Paid
again.
a lot of money for Terry
incompetent.
Rozier, and that sign and trade for Kemba.
Why would they do it?
I don't
know.
understand why you don't. You're not bringing anybody to free agency, right? I don't understand why you don't pay Kemba, and then you get a less talented version of him than Terry Rozier. It doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah, this is just mind-boggling to me.
Lakers, if they get Kawhi, are the biggest winners in history. If they don't, I think it's a. I don't know who they. I mean, I guess you got to sign and trade for D'Lo or
They're
something.
good. They good.
Yeah, they're good.
They're
They don't
good,
need
bro.
anything
I've
They
said this
need
from
pieces.
jump.
Danny Green going to be great. Iggy going to be great. They do need pieces. Right now, are the only players they have under contract AD and
Kuzma,
LeBron?
AD, and
And
LeBron.
Kuzma?
So, which is not bad, right? You have Kuzma, AD, LeBron.
You need 4 other guys at least that can play, and then a couple depth guys.
Sure. So,
You can
like,
get 8 guys to
maybe
come
you
over
do
there for
exactly what the Knicks should have done, which is just wait, be patient. People are going to need a dump salary.
The
and
buyouts?
You can get them buyouts.
They
Get
need
Iggy.
shooters.
Get these
They
people.
need shooters.
Well, they got JR, right? So JR is coming over.
Okay.
So now you have your shooter. You have one, at least guy can stretch the floor. AD and LeBron can actually shoot. And Kuzma, you better fucking be putting up them threes in the
The thing that
offseason.
worries me about the Lakers is that LeBron and AD are playing 50 games max.
Yeah.
Maybe 60.
Yeah.
So, like, you're going to need to win some of those games with none of those guys. And who do you win with?
Yeah, you need some more pieces. Here's something I want to discuss because this is two interesting things happened. One, Enes Kanter signs a 2-year, $10 million contract with
the Celtics.
With the Celtics.
Good pickup.
Is
You heard
that
the story
low?
about that, right?
Is that low? I feel
feels a little low.
shockingly low
But you
Seven.
heard what he said on Instagram.
about Julius.
No, about why he signed to Boston.
Why?
Apparently, Portland gave him a deal, and he's like, "Yo, they literally gave me 6 minutes to decide." And he was like, "Yo, I want to take some time." And they're like, "No, we need you to decide now." And he was like, "Fuck it, I'm out." And then took a deal with Boston.
But isn't that low?
Seems
You have
low.
a what is he, 6'10", 6'11"?
He
He's
plays.
skilled.
He's
like
a double-double
Bond, he looks
guy.
like a Bond
He's a
villain.
double-double
He
guy.
does look like a Bond
He's a
villain.
guy that you would
Dude,
get
the
10
president
million a
of
year. You would
Turkey
think.
wants to kill him.
Yeah.
Erdogan.
Erdogan, yeah.
I'm about to say, well,
you would think.
Never heard that
Boston's
out loud
probably
before.
not the best place to fucking go.
That's what I'm saying. You think you'd want to be as far away from Turkey as possible.
Right.
Then again, they could just probably have some Turkish dudes dress up as Antifa and just murk that dude and
Milkshake the hell out of him.
Yeah, right in public property. Okay, maybe I don't know. I just thought that was really light.
I think Boston going to be all right.
Yeah, maybe. So
Uh-oh.
Portland ends up signing
They traded for Whiteside,
Hassan Whiteside.
which is a good pickup. I didn't like it at first because I don't like Whiteside, but $21 million expiring at the end of the year.
Dude, that's
That's nice. That's nice. And then Jurkic or whatever is going to work his way back. By the
Bro.
time he's ready, you got a nice 1-2 punch.
hey.
A big man. think it was a savvy move.
They might have a nice little squad.
Yeah.
I mean, even CJ, Dame, and Whiteside. That's a lot.
You know what else you can do with Whiteside if a player becomes available at the trade deadline?
Boom.
Oh, here's a
Ship it.
$21 million expiring contract.
Yeah,
That's a big piece.
That was a good get.
Nice.
There's
Anyway,
a lot of shit happening. Apparently, Kawhi. No, wait.
what? Huh?
I thought
we had a Woj bomb.
I thought
So
I had a Woj bomb.
So you think Kawhi is staying? Did Varys hear anything, or are you just? It's
Nah,
just a
this
hunch?
is just my thoughts. I think he's staying though.
And you think he just wants to get recruited? Because all the ideas, like
Not he
Broussard-
wants to get recruited. I think his uncle is made some promises that he'd have some meetings happen, and he's just fulfilling those promises.
So
So you really believe that he will remain a Toronto Raptor? Do they pick up anybody else?
No, not to my knowledge, but
Just run it back.
I mean, my theory is also like, if you're Kawhi, why not just sign? Get the 5 years. Then we could do whatever you want after.
Can we just say, like, the beautiful
Right?
thing?
Like you have nothing to lose by just signing to the Raptors. Oh, you don't want a player? Okay, well,
Trade me.
We have the most valuable player in the league right now, who is every team wants. We'll just make a trade for you, but just get the 5. Why not?
get a 5 with a no trade clause, they'd give it to you, and then you can go to a team where it's like, I'm going to get traded to a team where we're still going to keep good pieces
But you're a free agent already. Why would you need to wait for that? Why would you need to get traded?
Why not get
traded?
5?
because you can get the supermax, right?
Get 5.
He'll be all right.
200 plus million, and
thi-
and to be fair, his health is an issue.
That
We
is
don't
true.
know about Kawhi's durability,
That is
so
true.
take
He was-
that 200 plus
He
million.
did kind of limp to the finish line, even
There
though
we
he
go.
killed.
It's crazy that Olympic Kawhi still got it done.
Still killed.
goat.
But it's great though. I really think this is the most wide open the league has ever been. Like
It's
in
quite
like
possible.
a long time. I literally can't call it. Who's taking it next year? Like who's the clear
And
cut favorite?
Toronto, mad salaries coming off the books next year. Lowry, $33 million.
They'll re-sign him.
Gasol, $25 million. Yeah, but you're not gonna sign for $33 million a year.
Right.
And I think Lowry might take a discount to stay. He might.
The thing is, there's nobody really available next year. Like
That's-
Draymond Green's like the top.
That's fine. You could
Free
also
agent.
sign 1 year deals or whatever, and then next year, motherfucking Kawhi and Giannis would be insane.
Yeah, that'd be stupid.
Insane. Like, or if Giannis is like, I want out, trade me. If you have pieces.
Yeah.
That's
They-
another.
they have-
Quietly, a loser might be Milwaukee, because you got to get him some pieces.
Yeah.
They
you
lost
can't-
Brogdon. They kept Middleton.
Kev Middleton.
I think
They paid
Robin
Lopez.
Lopez will play over his head with Brook. I feel like twins are just always better together.
Wait. They got
They
both?
got Robin Lopez for the mid level.
Yeah.
That's
Full mid level.
hilarious.
And they
That's
paid
perfect.
Brooke a lot of money. I still think
No,
you gotta-
Brooke deserves it. Brooke stretched the
No,
floor.
he was probably the third best player on that
That was
team.
perfect. They got George Hill to
they brought
resign.
Middleton back.
Middleton to resign.
If Giannis learns to shoot, again, this is, I think, like Boston and Milwaukee, it's on their stars.
Yeah.
Y'all got to hit another level, and then you're fine.
At the end of the year, Giannis was hitting those. He was hitting like some wide open threes.
They're
but,
just a
you know.
better Philly. I mean, think about it, right? They have their 2 bigs that can shoot
Yeah,
threes.
that's my only shit with Ben Simmons. Is like, my dude, like you gotta at least take the shots. You gotta at least be a fucking threat. Like Giannis
Physically
at least
incapable.
took the shots. Now he's actually making
Somebody
them.
said that. I don't know if it was
Physically
Kenny or
incapable.
what, but somebody was saying when I was getting better at 3-point shots, my coach was like, just shoot one every game.
Yeah.
You just have to shoot one
Yeah.
every game. I don't care if you make or miss. Shoot one.
Yeah, you gotta at least make somebody go like this.
Yeah.
At least. Just go like this.
And just to
you
get
hit one.
to get the confidence so it stops feeling so big. I
Yeah.
shoot one of these every game. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, but think about how embarrassing it was back when he would shoot one earlier in the season. He'd make it, and then the audience would clap like he was the autistic.
That was Markel Fultz, right?
Oh, it was Fultz.
God
That's
damn.
right. Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
Markel
yeah.
Fultz?
Yeah.
See, that's why I'm not crazy about Knicks going for draft picks and shit, because like you got to hit on those draft
Never
picks.
know.
You just never fucking know.
Never
Everybody
know.
thought Markel Fultz was the next fucking Westbrook, and
Anyway, guys, we've done a long podcast. Okay,
long.
we've discussed Francis's career, what's going to happen, what has happened. Hopefully, we've dug him out of a tricky situation.
Come back sometime. I know you're available.
I appreciate that. I'll be in France for 2 weeks now. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Enjoy.
see you in the Essence Fest this weekend.
I'm going to be in Essence Fest.
All right, let's
That's my
go.
version of reparations.
I
I
was
do
hoping to
Essence
go.
Fest for free every single year. So I'll definitely see all of my black queens down there at Essence Fest. Can't wait to see you guys again. It's my favorite time of year. This is like Black Burning Man. That's what I call it.
Milwaukee Bucks just signed Wesley Matthews.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
It's a
I
nice
think it's a
deal.
good move.
Solid deal.
maybe.
3-and-D. That's all they need for Giannis, really.
Anyway, but guys, thank you so much for listening to Flagrant 2, No Easy Buckets. We will see you guys on Patreon Friday. Appreciate you guys so much. Francis, tell them where they can find you.
Well, keep an eye out for my podcast.
We'll have
It
you
is
back on when it
in
happens.
development. Yeah, but it's you can follow me at Francis C. Ellis on Twitter, at Francis C. Ellis on Instagram. I don't know how that happened. That was a mistake.
So it's 2 C's.
Yeah, on Instagram. I don't even.
Can you get back to Francis C?
Not the
Ellis?
biggest mistake you've ever made.
All right, guys, that's another episode in the books. Peace.